Gaming news today is all about disappointing things. First, former president of SIE, Shuhei Yoshida, has some strong words about subscription models in the gaming world. Is there a danger for models like Game Pass going forward? And how does he think that PS Plus is any different? Second, Helldivers 2 is once again being review bombed on Steam, and this time it has nothing to do with the PSN requirements. It's actually kind of hard to figure out what's going on, but I think we got to the bottom of it. Third, Elden Ring Nightreign has released, and it's not doing terrible, but it also has frame rate issues that they have warned about, and not a great score on Steam. Even though the player numbers started out very strong, there do seem to be some issues with the game. Its overall score is landing quite a bit lower than other FromSoft games as of late. Fourth, the Xbox plans for a handheld have been put on hold. Is this because of the Steam OS, or are their hardware plans continuing to change, and are they in flux? Excuse me. This has been an ongoing discussion with Xbox. Like, are they just going to completely change their plans and what they're doing? And it doesn't really, I think, add a lot of confidence and credence into things going forward. So, if you're watching this later, make sure you hit the like button. If you're watching it right now on YouTube, hit the like button. There's plenty of ways to support what I do. I am a fan-funded operation. Like, we do this full-time because of you guys. So, consider supporting directly. You can use your Twitch Prime subs on Twitch. If you sub on YouTube with the join button, just make sure you pick Member Plus, all right? So, let's get into it. There's quite a bit to discuss today. I'm sure we'll have some debates, and we will be jumping into some Nightreign gameplay later. So up first, the Game Pass discussion. Is Xbox Game Pass dangerous for gaming as a subscription model? Well, former president of SIE Worldwide Studios, Shuhei Yoshida, thinks that it could be. In a recent interview, he said that, quote, if the only way for people to play games is through subscriptions, that's really dangerous. Now, you might be like, well, why does he think that? What's the danger? Well, he thinks this would largely limit creativity, and it would start to dictate the type of games that are made, because there are certain games that do far better on a subscription service than others. And he concludes that, quote, if the big companies dictate what games can be created, I don't think that will advance the industry. And coming from Sony, he does admit he has a little bit of a bias here. According to Insider Gaming, they said the following. He believes PlayStation Plus is healthier because Sony is not giving away first-party games for free immediately. Now, this is very reminiscent to what other industry executives have said. The CEO of Take-Two, the former president and CEO Jim Ryan of PlayStation, they have both expressed that sub-services are not a great strategy for really big new releases day and date. It's very value destructive. So Shuhei is seemingly just sort of airing that and saying similar things. And with the recent revelation that Doom the Dark Ages hasn't even sold 1 million copies, you do have to start to wonder if Xbox's publishing efforts are going to start to be evaluated internally about the impact of Game Pass. And they even have moved day and date. Like, even if you want day and date now, you have to sign up for Ultimate, and they raise the price of Ultimate. It's basically $20. And if that continues to happen, they continue to raise prices as they've indicated that might happen for Game Pass in the future. That would be a concern. That you're continuing to have to pay more and more money just to get the day and date, and then you're not really ever building a library, and so your monthly outgo would go up, and you're not actually accruing any more value out of the service. So what do you think? Is there a risk for submodels moving forward, and as well as just sub fees in general? Are they dangerous for bigger releases day and date? You can let me know in the comments below, or you can come discuss it in the live stream. So the other thing to discuss here that is just absolutely peculiar is the situation with Helldivers 2. I honestly did not think that we would ever be here again, but Helldivers 2 is once again being review bombed on Steam, and it's not for anything that you would expect. As of right now, close to 3,000 negative reviews have flooded the game just in the last 24 hours. In the span of just a day, they have once again had their community revolt against them. And the cause is, well, people didn't really seem to understand what the mechanics did in the game. There was this idea that you could liberate a city, but then the percentage got stuck at 99%. And a lot of players in the Chinese market expressed frustration with that. They had all rallied behind a particular city in Asia in the game, and they couldn't actually liberate it. Now, the major order has since completed, but the anger and the ire over this, it's difficult to actually get upset at, because I found myself earlier when the game first came out, it was sometimes confusing to know, are we liberating planets or are we just kind of keeping the enemy at bay? I think there's something a little bit more satisfying about like seeing that 100%, seeing that checkbox, seeing something liberated. And obviously this is a lesson for Arrowhead. If you're going to have people doing things with cities and feeling that sense of liberating them is like a satisfactory thing that players want, maybe they should restructure the major orders in the future. Essentially, you were not trying to liberate cities, you were trying to get the Illuminate to 0%. So I'm not sure if Steam is ever going to come up with a way for gamers to voice their frustrations with things like that doesn't just result in the score of a game getting tanked, because right now it doesn't represent the quality of the game. The player numbers are very strong. People have really enjoyed the latest addition to the game, the weapon customization, fighting in cityscapes or with, giant towering skyscrapers. It's really fun, and I don't think the current batch of 3,000 negative reviews accurately represents the quality of Helldivers 2. This is something that's been going on for a while, where if your game's in early access or live service, one patch or one update can drive your score down, and it really isn't representative of the overall quality. So what do you think should be done here? Is this something that should be addressed by Steam? How does Arrowhead proceed when, if you upset your community, they're just going to tank your score on Steam? Again, let me know in the comments below, or you can always come discuss it in a live show. And we've got some more things to discuss here as well with Elden Ring Nightreign. A quick warning before jumping into Elden Ring Nightreign, especially if you are going to be playing on PC. It currently has about a 68% on Steam, and that is likely because of what the developer warned about. There are potential issues. Now, they are pushing out a patch for old and current gen consoles to address a litany of issues. Largely, they are targeting improving gameplay and stability, but in the second half of the patch notes, they did indicate that some PC configurations using the latest graphics cards may experience frame rate drops. And if this sounds familiar, it's because it is familiar. Elden Ring launched in a very similar way. There was pretty egregious frame rate issues and stuttering that plagued the game on PC at launch. Now, I remember because I dove in immediately, and it was really bad. So be warned, if you're diving into Elden Ring Nightreign, you may encounter some of these issues, as the score from the users alone is representative of that. There is something, not severely wrong, but wrong enough to drive the score down. Now, the overall score of Nightreign isn't that impressive compared to other FromSoft games. I went and looked at all the Dark Souls games, Bloodborne, Sekiro, and Elden Ring. They're all in the 90s, and Nightreign currently has an 82 on PlayStation. So even where it seemingly is running a little bit better, not dealing with some of the issues maybe the PC is dealing with, it's a weaker score for FromSoft. So what do you think? Is this an issue for FromSoft in their engine with the performance issues? Why do you think the game's not getting quite the strong reception of other games from them? Let me know in the comments below, or you can come discuss it in a live show. And the last thing to discuss that was kind of disappointing for people with respect to, they were hoping something was going to happen with this, is the Xbox Handheld. Well, it continues to feel like Xbox hardware plans are about as reliable as the weatherman. According to a recent report, Xbox handheld plans have been sidelined for now, and they are doing this to focus on Windows 11 PC gaming optimization. That's not exactly what the dwindling Xbox console loyalists wanted to hear. As I've continued to say, that the Xbox hardware plans are likely still in flux, especially after how much the sales have fallen for the Series X and the S compared to the Xbox One era, and that era itself was considered a failed generation. Would Xbox continue pushing their hardware after falling down so significantly far with their existing hardware right now? The report actually comes from Windows Central, and they said that, quote, "Our sources have indicated to us that Microsoft is still deeply investing in developing its own Xbox gaming handheld technology in the future, but it was announced internally today that the priorities are moving more deeply towards third-party OEM handhelds in the interim." And listen, the concern here is obvious. If it becomes more profitable to just let other companies make the hardware, they could shift to that entirely. They found it more profitable to publish games everywhere, abandoning the entire idea of exclusivity. Hardware could go a very similar route as the Xbox brand continues to evolve and move away from everything that the company once valued. What do you think? Does this shake your confidence in Xbox hardware in the future, or is this a smart move? Do you still think they're going to be doing a traditional console in the future? Do you still think they're going to be doing their own handheld? Let me know in the comments below, or you can come discuss it in a live show. And then, as always, I've got a game for your wish list and your radar. And a lot of you are already aware of this one, but I wanted to put it back on your radar. If this game is not already on your wish list or radar, I think that it should be. Mouse PI for Hire is set to release in 2025 on the Switch, Xbox, PlayStation, and Steam, and I think it looks fantastic. One of their recent trailers has this experimental weapons reveal, and it's clear that this is inspired by the resurgence of the old-timey cartoon style that was started by Cuphead, and this game takes its visuals and style directly from Steamboat Willie that is now public domain, and I honestly cannot wait for this. The more that they show, the more I want to play. There's loads of weapon diversity and a great intersection of two cartoon styles because the world looks a little bit more realistic and grounded, while the characters and the guns look far more cartoonish and almost hand-drawn. I really think you should add Mouse PI for Hire to your wish list or your radar. It is coming in 2025. Without knowing the release date, that's a great reason to put it on your wish list. And that is it for the show open. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Thank you guys so much for being here. Make sure if you're watching on YouTube, you have done your due diligence in the ritual of smashing the like button. And then we're going to make sure that that upload gets over there to Creature. We are going to start maybe considering, we're considering doing this, having a whole playlist of the games for your wish list and radar. Since we do it so often, we might start to develop that for you guys. So if you ever miss a bunch of shows and you've been gone for a while, you could come back, and then you could have all of them in one place. And that would be like a nice way for you to be like, hey, I missed a bunch of games, especially after the summer showcase season. That is certainly something that you're going to want to keep your eyes open for. There's going to be almost too many games to keep track of, and I try to scrape across the top, grab all of the best game. Now, I do have to thank Brains for adding to the total while I stepped away. Sorry about being gone for a little bit longer than usual. I had to drain the dehumidifier, and then I thought I heard something, and then it wouldn't let me talk in the chat. I had to reboot my entire chat application, so I got it fixed, though. So thank you guys so much for being here and supporting it. I appreciate it very much, and I've got some people to thank as well. I'm going to let Creature know the vid's in frame just in case he can't hear the stream. And then Han shot first, and so did you, Joker Quinn, with the first gifted sub of the day, and that puts us exactly 10 away. Remember, whoever hits it gets it, so whoever makes that hit 825, I owe you the 5 members, and I do owe YouTube 15. I'm going to hold off. I'm going to hold off because we may be able to just do a 20 bomb. OG DSB with 33 months and a member plus, thank you. And then Bareth Chosen with 15 months and a member plus, thank you. And that takes us to 17. And then the friendly little competition between the two platforms here is getting started, and it's now 3-3 because Predator adds his to the mix and says, let's go. As a reminder, you guys have not just unlocked a Friday night stream with Madam. We're going to be playing some RoboQuest for you tonight with dual perspectives. I have to set up everything for that, so that's why we make that an incentive. That's not easy to set up, but I do set that up, and it's really fun for you. We've been really loving RoboQuest. We played it last night when we got back from our double date. We went on a double date with some friends of ours, and I was like, let's play some more RoboQuest, and she wanted to. But also, I will be sharing more of my music with you, and I wrote a song specifically this week just about, everything that's been going on and happening. It's a really great cathartic outlet for me, and I wrote it and said, hey, you know what? I'll let you guys hear the whole thing if you hit 800. If you hit 900, I'll pull out another one. I will pull out another one. I'll pull out another full song for you. So Polarin with 26 months says, renewed my man. Thank you guys so much for the ongoing support. We've started saying this, and I really want to stress this to you guys. We are a fan-funded operation, okay? I do this full-time, and it's not from sponsored deals or ad revenue or high viewership. It's because I've got people that support the channel directly. So Twitch Primes and subs on Twitch, and really as many of you as possible signing up for Member Plus. That's a huge need right now for the YouTube channel. The YouTube culture is very much not about that, right? This isn't Patreon, but we do all that extra content that you don't get access to without being at Member Plus. So consider upgrading. Date night to take it to Applebee's? No. That we've got a favorite spot that we go to that we really like. We know the owner. We know the wait staff. We love it there, and so that's where we went. So, Might as well be an album listening party. We will start to do that. I will literally let you guys, once we officially release the music and I start adding to the music, we will do that. We will set it up to where like you guys could start to make me release a single like on a given week for like member incentives. That'll be really fun. And we've got a ton of music to do it with. Like I've written like, I don't know, like 30 something songs. Careful, you sound like you're begging. I'm just being transparent. I don't know. In an era where people are very fake and glib and grift and make things up or mislead, it's like I'm just honest with you guys. Like I'm able to do this because of y'all's support. And a single gifted comes in over here on Twitch and makes it very tantalizing for somebody to make this hit 825. We are officially a 5 bomb away. And remember, whoever hits it gets it. If Twitch hits it, they get the members. YouTube, if you hit it, you get the members. Yeah, and don't forget about all the other ways to support, right? If you guys are coffee drinkers, try the coffee. It's ours. It's not a sponsor. If you're soda drinkers, use the soda command. Thank you guys so much for hitting those commands. What are my thoughts on the Switch 2? I'm a lot more apprehensive and worried given some of the things we've recently heard. As long as it can run first-party Nintendo games really well, especially the one that I'm the most interested in is Mario Kart, and I want to play through Tears of the Kingdom. I had to put it down because the performance was so bad. I suffered through Breath of the Wild, but that was well earlier into my sort of delving into always playing everything at 60 FPS. And a 5 bomb comes in from Jay Christ. Thank you so much. And there it is. YouTube secures it. I owed YouTube 15 from yesterday, so I now owe them 20. And I'm going to do that right now, right at the beginning of the stream to kind of celebrate what a great week we have had. So, yeah, the Switch 2, I'm a little bit concerned about performance. Again, as long as they can give me the good performance in the first-party games, that's all I really care about. Like, I don't really give a rip about the stuff we're hearing about Hogwarts and Cyberpunk. It's like I have a PS5 Pro for that. That's where I'm going to play my third-party games. So that is a concern, though. I hope that doesn't have a direct effect. Like, if Metroid runs well and Mario Kart runs well and Zelda and Donkey Kong and all the rest, then I don't care. I'm fine. That's what I'm buying the Switch for. So I'm not a fan of their game sharing crap that they do. Like, that's going to be a nightmare with my kiddos, but we'll figure it out. You write more music than actual musicians, and it's yours instead of someone else writing it for you, like most musicians today. Well, obviously, I'm able to do it very, very quickly because I'm a lyricist, and then the AI does the rest. Like, writing lyrics is very second nature to me, especially when if I feel very angry about something, or I feel a sense of like righteous indignation, like the lyrics just kind of flow. So, yeah. What are those patch notes for Stonespire? Is that for Tainted Grail? I've not booted it up yet. Okay, so they're addressing performance. Okay. Tainted Grail got a huge update this morning, and it's hitting consoles later today, including a PS5 Pro improved performance with the 1440 mode. Okay, I'll check it out. I left it installed for that reason. I left the game installed for that reason, Stonespire. I want to try and do those guys a solid. They sent me the collector's edition, and they were so super nice, but it was like I could not put together a game that was not a video, that was not basically like a PSA. It was like I had to warn people. It was not in a good state at launch. They are seemingly acting very quickly, and I applaud them for that. It just makes me wish games would wait a little bit longer, you know? I think there's just too many games coming out that a lot of these companies are now trying to navigate the calendar, and it's causing them to push games out too early. Did you gift me with that? I don't know. I can't see. Did you get one? My understanding is that they show recent. However, if an individual has previous review, it will show as an update, which may not help. It could be wrong, but I do believe you can go back and update. Yeah, you can update your reviews, and it will reflect that in the overall score of the game. That's what happened the last time that Helldivers 2 got review bombed. People went back and fixed their score once the PSN requirement got dropped. How do I order your coffee? You can go to reforgeroast.com or use the coffee command in chat. reforgeroast.com. If you guys are listening to the audio version of this podcast or watching this video later, seriously, if you're a coffee drinker, I feel like our coffee is very, very fairly priced. And you're supporting basically a small business. This is not a sponsor. Like, my wife and kiddos bag this up and ship this to you from our house. You get little thank you notes from them. If you've never tried coffee with balanced acidity, you should try our coffee. It leads to a much lower bitterness, much lower bite. It's very smooth, very drinkable. And we've had people tell us, like, hey, I can't drink coffee because I have stomach issues. they can drink Reforge Roast because of the acidity and how it's handled. So, yeah, you can't order outside the United States. I am sorry that the shipping is just too dadgum expensive. So, it becomes good espresso as well. Pro tip, says Polarin. There you go. I made it into an Insider Gaming post. Oh, really? Like a tweet or something, Fuzzy? Nightreign is already sold 2 million copies. Insane. Where do you plant the coffee? That's not something that we do. We have it sourced, ground, bagged, and shipped to us. Where you're being sourced, all that information is on the website pertaining to each individual flavor. So each individual flavor is not necessarily the exact same source. So Original Light is multi-origin of South American regions. So our light roast is multi-source South American. The dark roast is single origin, and it single known geographic location. It doesn't say. I thought that one was also South America. And then the where is the Frickmas? And then the Frickmas is also single origin, but I'm not seeing it listed here. I thought they provided us with all that information, but I'm not seeing it. I'm not sure if yeah, it just says single origin, single geographic location. Yeah, I thought we had all of the locations because the light is multi-origin South America. Thank you so much, Chess or Checkers, for using your Prime sub over here on Twitch. That's an Agent of Chaos. You're pushing us past the 825, and you're tying it up between the two platforms. So thank you so much for doing that. Accidentally pierced my hand on a rusty nail. Oof, that sucks. Why do people care so much about where the coffee is sourced? Oh, I don't know. Some people, I think, care about that when, maybe there's particular regions that they like more than others. I'm not sure. Allows the reader to see the when and the why that the review changed. Yeah, I don't know if Steam can come up with some kind of a solution here, because there definitely is I think, a weakness to the system currently. If you're doing an early access game or a live service game, the fastest way for people to let you know, hey, we don't like this thing that you did. Well, the fastest way for them to do that is to review and to leave a negative review and to say, don't like this, don't do this, right? Well, does that represent the overall quality of the game? No. It could be a patch that people don't like. It could be a gun that they broke. It could be, in this case, people misunderstood the way that the major order functioned, and they thought they could liberate cities, and when they figured out they couldn't liberate cities, they got angry and they review bombed. Like, okay. That's not representative of the quality of Helldivers 2 right now. Helldivers 2 is in one of the best places that it's been since release with respect to player engagement numbers, player morale, and just the community feeling satisfaction with the content. And yet, if you go to Steam, you would think that everybody is dadgum furious. Why? Because people misunderstood how the city's mechanic worked. I mean, that kind of sucks, but at the same time, Arrowhead has to consider that. This isn't the first time that people felt like, hey, I don't really understand. Why can't we liberate this planet? Or why can't we do this, that, and the third? It's not accurately explained a lot of the times. You know what I mean? So to me, it's like, if you're going to be having a mechanic like that, it needs to be very, very clearly explained. You can't get it to 100%. I mean, at some level, why have a status bar that's inching ever closer to 100% if it can't actually get there? Like, what's the point? What's the purpose of that? Do they need to come up with another method of communicating to the player? This is more of an ever-present game of tug of war on this particular city. In this particular city and or planet, so that they know we can never fully liberate this, and that's important. Why? Because then they wouldn't try. they would get it to 70%, 80%, and then they'd move on and do something else. They saw it getting close to 100, got it all the way to 99, and thought, here we go, we're going to fully liberate this, and then it wouldn't let them. It just stayed at that 99%. And I think that's something that Arrowhead has to consider. Like, okay, you're not communicating clearly to the players that, hey, you can't get this to 100%. They could honestly come up with a new method and say, when you get it to 100%, you buy, 6 hours of, like, there's nothing invading. They, the Illuminate have to kind of like rally and come back. And then you got to go back and take it again. So you would buy yourselves maybe like a 6-hour respite or something where, like, okay, you got it to fill to 100, great. Now there's a 6-hour countdown to when they come back or something. Yeah, 12 hours maybe, something to that effect. Give people a sense of satisfaction in filling the dadgum bar to 100% instead of just stopping it at 99. That just feels so arbitrary. I get why people were frustrated. I don't think review bombing is the appropriate response. I'm saying I understand why people would be frustrated by that. I get them being upset, but upset enough to review bomb seems childish. Again, it's their only means of providing that kind of feedback. FromSoft bucking the trend where PC is like 50%. Yeah, Nightreign is going to sell well on the name alone. Like, Elden Ring was so insanely popular globally. Like, Elden Ring Nightreign isn't going to struggle commercially to sell copies. I just don't think it's going to be, it's the reception's not going to be the same. It's not going to be received the same. Its overall score, Metacritic and OpenCritic is already lower. Its user score is already markedly lower than all of the Dark Souls games, Bloodborne, Sekiro, Elden Ring. And I think it makes sense, right? Number one, there's performance issues on PC. So the 68% on PC seems to have more to do with that than the game itself, which, again, that's unfortunate. That's exactly what happened with the first game. I'm glad I don't play crap games. What game are you referring to? I'm so over Souls games at this point. It seems like we are getting a new Souls every month. I mean, Elden Ring certainly had an impact. I think the growing popularity. You also have to consider, like, when Sekiro won Game of the Year, that probably influenced a lot of studios saying we should try and make a game like that. And so, yes, we're now sort of seeing like this groundswell of, games that are like that, whether it's Wu Chang Fallen Feathers or, Black Myth Wukong, Lies of P, Lords of the Fallen. It's definitely growing, and I don't think that's a bad thing. I just think that the real struggle, and thank you, Joker Quinn, for gifting a single member. I think the real challenge is, how do you stand out? Phantom Blade Zero is next year. Giving YouTube a single point lead there in the contest. Let me get the speakers off there, since you guys have basically already unlocked it. I'll just every 100 though, we'll just unlock a new one. Lies of P DLC. Yeah. I think the ultimate question for the studios making these games is, like, how are you going to stand out? There is an awful lot of games that are landing in this threshold, in this genre, and it can be very, very easy to just be white noise. If you guys are watching on YouTube, do me a favor and smack that like button. Try to get us to 200 likes really, really quickly. Let's have a strong Friday, boys. We are going to be playing Elden Ring Nightreign this afternoon as well. Thank you, Googly, for the super chat. From Software dropped the hardest boss to have friends to play together. That is a hard boss. That is a difficult boss. I was saying this morning in Morning Coffee, it seems to me that they just sort of landed on, well, we're going to design the bosses around 3 players, and I think that was a bad idea, because now you've got a game that very much feels like a square peg. It's like, well, what if you want to play with 2 players? That's the common co-op setup, is it not? Is 2 players. That's probably the most common co-op setup in games like this. I'm trying to get my armrest to go back. I can't get it to go back. Oh, there we go. Sorry, I had to go back to Gifted. That's okay. Do we need to remind you to record footage for Nightreign? No, thank you for asking that, Stone Spire. I will not be doing... I don't think I'll be doing like a first impressions video about it. I don't. We have gotten terrible results anytime we've tried to talk about Nightreign, and I don't know why. Plenty of people are covering it and doing just fine. I think if you orbit around those types of games, your audience is naturally going to come to you and be curious what you think. I think the audience here has just very much moved on from those types of games. Like, we got great results when I played Elden Ring, when I played Shadow of the Erdtree. Nightreign, I just don't think is landing on the core audience here. I think it's probably because of the rogue. They're just like, yeah, I'm just not interested, you know. I find it interesting they turned into Windows 11 focus after SteamOS officially released. Well, the From Friday boys already left. That's probably true. Tons of co-op games have trios or quads. Monster Hunter, Helldivers. Yeah, I know. I'm not saying that that's not something that's out there. What I'm saying is, I think this is just a prediction. I could be incorrect. I think the average co-op setup when most people play co-op is 2. They grab a buddy and they go. I'm not saying having 3 or 4 is not out there. I'm just saying I think that's very, very common for somebody to say, hey, let's play some blank together, and it's just 2 people. Whether it's Borderlands or Diablo or even Elden Ring co-op, I would bet a lot of people, a lot of the co-op setups are probably just 2 people. That's why Elden Ring Nightreign is such an interesting choice. They're like, yeah, it's 3 or 1. And they even said recently in an interview, they said that even by yourself, it's not really tuned for that. I'm like, oh, wow. Okay. I mean, that you talk about really stretching the expectations of the player base. I mean, traditionally speaking, how many people that you think are fans of FromSoft games are more often than not playing by themselves? Dark Souls 1 through 3, Sekiro, Bloodborne, Elden Ring, Armored Core, like they're very probably very solo-minded players, very self-reliant players. And to put out a game that's basically like, yeah, you're going to want to play with 2 other people, I just feel like that's a really tall order. It's a tall order. And if people go to play solo and they feel like it's not tuned well for solo, and it clearly isn't tuned well for two players, I'm here to tell you the score makes sense. I think people are kind of like, yeah, this ain't it, man. Like, this is... Personally, I think they should have just called it Nightreign. I think calling it Elden Ring Nightreign was a mistake, but I think it helped them build it faster. They built it in the world of Elden Ring with the assets, enemies, characters, animations, and all that. It probably helped them build it faster. But if they would have just called it Nightreign, I think maybe people would have been a little more apt to... It probably would have hurt the commercial sales of the game, because right now people are buying it on the brand recognition of Elden Ring. A lot of people would have skipped it, but then at least you would have had people knowing what they're getting into. It would have been like, oh, it's a very unique game where it's basically a rogue Souls game. And now you might be getting people that are buying it thinking, like, this is not what I expected. Hey, somebody ordered some coffee. Thank you, Brian31. He buys some light roast, and he buys a Team Frick tumbler. Thank you so much for doing that, man. I greatly appreciate that. That is so kind of you. There's monsters from all the Souls games anyways. Nightreign would have been made more sense. Watching last night, the game works best with your homies, and it goes much better because the runs with randoms. Oh, you're saying don't even play with randies. I mean, yeah, it's definitely not a game to play with randies. Is the brand FromSoft or Elden Ring? It's kind of both, isn't it? I mean, Elden Ring is a recognizable brand at this point. It's literally a franchise that people see Elden Ring and they're like, oh yeah, that was that huge game everybody talked about, everybody played. From Software is also a brand that people are going to recognize. But like, yeah, I buy FromSoft games. It's kind of both. But Randy is a cool dude. Randy's a cool dude until you have to play with a couple of them in a video game and they don't want to do what you're trying to do. Sold 30 million, probably why they used it. Oh, for sure. For sure. I mean, it's going to sell incredibly well off of the name alone. The risk they have taken is it's going to sell well off of the name, and then people are going to be like, this is a pretty big step down from what Elden Ring was. Like, look at the scores. It's not doing very well. Listen here, says Derek, in this gen and last combined, I paid for maybe 2 games that weren't what I wanted and I felt ripped off. And in both cases, it was my fault for not reading or watching a bit first. Okay, the only issue with that, Derek, is as a company, you have to remember that the consumer is both stupid and never wrong in matters of taste. It's not a great combination. You have to bludgeon them over the head to say, like with Returnal, hey, this is a rogue. hey, this is a rogue. Don't buy this if you don't like rogues. You're going to die and go back to the beginning. Right? People saw a cool new game with cool bullets and guns, or cool bullet hell and guns and moving around, and they bought it, and then they were like, what the frick is this? I died and went back to the beginning, and it's like, yeah. But the consumer is both stupid and they're never wrong in matters of taste. If they buy your game and they're like, I don't like this, I can confirm I can be dumb sometimes, but I'm also never wrong. Yeah, it's a terrible combination. It's a terrible combination that the companies have to deal with. You have to bludgeon people over the head with the information. Believe me, as a streamer who operates at a much smaller scale than any of these companies have to operate at, it's so easy for me to say something and people are like, wait, what? Are you canceling the talk show? Are you moving everything to Twitch? It's like, no, like, I can scream at the top of my lungs that, hey, I'm not doing this. And someone's going to go, are you doing it though? Like, it doesn't, you know what I'm saying? You can literally shout the information and people will still hear it wrong, misinterpret it. So the issue is with Nightreign has the Elden Ring name. And you know what a lot of people are going to do? They're going to see that, and that's all they're going to see. Oh, Elden Ring. I like that. Let me buy that. Oh, it's a FromSoft game. I like FromSoft games. Let me get this. People are woefully stupid, and I crap you not. Over 50% of adults in the U.S. can't. Over 50% can pass the 6th grade English exam. For sure. Like, literacy is quite low, not just in America. There are other portions of the world where literacy might be quite low. Here's what also happens. In the realm of entertainment and consuming media like game trailers and stuff, I do this. I turn kind of caveman. I'm like, give me gameplay. Like, game name, gameplay. Show my eyeballs, gameplay. Like, I'm not being thoughtful. I'm not. The part of my brain that, like, wants to be entertained, it isn't like the part of my brain that analyzes, sentence structure, argumentation, or like trying to figure out like a whodunit or a mystery. No, it's the dumb part of my brain. It's like, my brain wants tickled to tickle my brain. Give me gameplay. Like, so a lot of people, when they're watching a showcase or they're watching YouTube, they're vegging out. They're just like, what's this new trailer? And they're not going to be thinking at that level. So it's very easy for them to be like, yo, did you see that Elden Ring Nightreign trailer? That was looking kind of hot. Pre-order. And then that's the extent of their thought. They're not like, I better go read blogs and product descriptions to make sure I'm buying something that I'll enjoy. They're like, no, the trailer looked hot. I'm going to pre-order. It's that it's the I call it the monkey brain of the internet, because that's how a lot of us. You could be really intelligent, but when you go to interact with entertainment, you're not operating at that level. You're not doing brain surgery. You could be a brain surgeon, but you're not doing brain surgery when you're like, I want to see funny cat videos on TikTok. You know what I'm saying? Oh, I'm still muted in Discord? Oh, all right. Well, nobody's listening, but that's okay. It's almost like using an older license, like hypothetically, say, Marathon, and using it for brand recognition and then making it something different, like, say, an Extraction. Sure. It's definitely in the lane of like, oh, we're going to use the name because it's recognizable, but then a lot of people are like, well, it's basically Marathon in name only. This feels like it's very much like Elden Ring in name only. Like it's just not going to scratch that itch that a lot of people, loved and liked in the base game of Elden Ring. Guys on YouTube, really quickly smash that like button, man. Thanks for a nice strong turnout here on a Friday. Appreciate it. Battlefield games have been letting me down lately, and I'm still pre-ordering the 6th. That's my monkey brain. Yeah, I mean, some of that is monkey brain. Some of that's just like baked in allegiance. Like there are just some things you just have like baked in allegiance for. I'm like, it's Mario, it's Nintendo. Yeah, give me it. I don't like anything that Nintendo's been doing lately. I don't like how they're doing the game sharing. I don't like them raising prices. I don't like them suing Pal World. And yet I'm like, if it's Nintendo, I'm there. Give me it. I want it. I will play. I'm guessing Nightreign doesn't need to be incredibly successful commercially since it was a side project and seemingly thrown together quickly. Probably doesn't have a huge budget. Oh, they're going to make a bunch of money on it. They're going to make a stupid amount of money on Nightreign. Yes, the operation and production cost for Nightreign is it has to be like a fraction of what it costs to make the base game of Elden Ring, as well as I'd hazard a guess that like the bandwidth and development that went into Nightreign is probably similar to Erdtree. I bet you they're in the same hemisphere, and they're probably going to sell way more copies of Nightreign than they did Erdtree, I would bet. At a higher premium, right? Like what's the price point on Nightreign? Is it 50? 40. What was Erdtree? Less than Erdtree? I don't know. I feel like it's going to sell more than Erdtree. Was Erdtree also 40? Oh no, yeah, it was 40. That'll be interesting to see if they sell more copies of Nightreign than Erdtree. My instinct would be like a base game is always going to sell more than DLC, like how Miles Morales sold more than Spider-Man 1 DLCs, but I don't know, I could be wrong. They could end up selling more of Erdtree lifetime than they do of Nightreign. We the People, thank you so much for 25 months of memberships on Twitch, man. I appreciate that so much. 828, and then ties it up between the two platforms. 6-6. Slower start on Friday. That's okay. You guys have already gone crazy for the week. You've unlocked basically everything there is to unlock on Friday night, other than like just more music. I mean, they probably did less work than Erdtree. Oh no, I agree. I think they probably did like it's probably similar bandwidth and work, but they probably end up like actually making it faster. Because they had to create an entire... Well, it's probably a bit of a wash because they had to create all the rogue systems and all the randomization and like the storm system. And then in Erdtree, they had to create that whole new leveling system. Yo, a hype train is starting over here on Twitch. DLC Live, thank you for 2 months of memberships. It's y'all's time to shine, Twitch. You guys went pretty strong yesterday. Wired Rope called for a hype train, and you guys went crazy. Miyazaki's the director? No, Miyazaki had basically nothing to do with Nightreign. He basically gave them their blessing, and that was his extent. That was his involvement with Nightreign. The guy in charge got his blessing, and that was basically it. Exactly. This is just supposed to be a fun experiment. I think they succeeded. Game of the year, no, but the base is solid, and they already announced incoming adjustments. Gangsters, check my last comment about the 2 million sold copies. I think I'm going to be part of the Nope group and backpedal. I watched gameplay and it looks awesome, but it's not a game I can commit to with a friend group, and I'm not going to bother with randoms. If I want solo Elden Ring, then I will play Elden Ring. You said, saw that they got 2 million purchases and reviews dropped to mixed on Steam. Sounds like a lot of people checked it out and it looked fun, realized what it was, and noped completely out. Well, if you refund on Steam, your review doesn't count. So the people that their reviews are actually counting and then subsequently pulling the score down, they're probably having a go and not liking either Well, I also think the people that are probably buying it and keeping it and not refunding it are probably reviewing it because of the performance issues. And so that's why they didn't refund, because they're like, well, the performance issues will get patched, but I'm still going to give you a negative review, which is the right thing to do, letting people know, like, hey, the thing doesn't run well. Remember, guys, Sony's in charge of From Software's gaming and entertainment department per Katakawa. Is that true? Where did you hear that, Monty? Chad, is that accurate that Sony's in charge of the game of From Software? I don't think that's true. I don't think I've seen that said or reported anywhere. You can look it up. But what would I even search for? Where did you get the information? Did you get it from like an article or something? Sony controls From Software? Sony has announced they increase its holding. Yeah, they increased their holding with Katakawa to protect them from a buyout. They acquired shares. The last time they acquired the shares, they sold them back. Sony now owns 10% of Katakawa. So how does that give them control? That doesn't make any sense to me. Who argued this or reported this, that owning 10% of Katakawa gives them control of From Software? I don't think that that's accurate. That doesn't sound correct to me. They hold the majority stake? What do you mean they hold the majority? How is 10% the majority? They said they control the gaming part. Look it up. Homie, you keep telling me to look it up. Where did you see this reported? I am trying to look it up right now. Like, where did you see this claimed? It shouldn't be that difficult to be like, I read it in this outlet, or I read it from this article or this source. Yeah, look it up where. Like, what am I searching for? I searched for Sony controls From Software. I'm getting nothing. In December, Dario said Sony becomes the majority owner of From Software. How will this affect Elden Ring? Sony's ownership of approximately 10% of Katakawa's total shares will allow it to have a dominant position over decisions made in the future. Both companies refer to this agreement as a capital and business alliance that will extend to all areas they touch. Hang on. Let me zoom in on this. It's just so small. Hiroki Totoki, president of Sony, said, quote, by combining Katakawa's extensive IP and IP creation ecosystem with the strength of Sony, which has promoted the global expansion of a wide range of entertainment, including video games and anime, we plan to work closely to complete Katakawa's global media mix strategy. Let me get this straight. You're going to be one of these guys that's trying to pin Nightreign on PlayStation? So does PlayStation get credit for Erdtree too? Like, are you actually going to try and claim that if Nightreign doesn't do as well or gets some bad review scores or is buggy? Like, I'm not quite sure what invoking Sony has to do with this. I'm not seeing anybody say anywhere that Sony controls From Software. I'm not seeing that reported. I'm seeing one outlet speculate on what are they going to be able to do as a majority shareholder, and that's it. I'm not seeing anybody claim that like Sony is now in charge of From Software. If you saw that reported somewhere, the burden of proof is on you, not me. You can't like assign me a research project. Well, go look it up. No, you made the claim. You need to provide the source that made this claim. I'm not finding any of that, and that's not reported anywhere. It isn't. 10% of all of Katakawa wouldn't give them control of From Software. That doesn't stand to reason unless there's some kind of a contractual agreement that I'm unaware of, but I'm not seeing that. They were protecting them from a Korean takeover. That's all we knew, and that's all has been reported since, as far as I can find from the search that I just did. Why is this relevant? I mean, I guess we're talking about Nightreign. I don't know. I don't know why it was stated. I'm not sure what the point is. He said, remember guys, Sony is in charge of From Software's gaming and entertainment department per Katakawa. I would like to know where you got that information, because if that's the case, why on earth would From Software be doing an exclusive with Nintendo? It seems that seems really weird for Sony to be in charge of From Software's gaming and entertainment decisions, and they would allow them to do a Nintendo exclusive? That would have made the news big time. For sure. Like, I feel like we would have reported on that. Prepared for the talk. The internet's going to blame Sony if it flops. I don't think the internet's going to blame Sony, brother. I'm not seeing that reported anywhere. I am not. I'm not seeing any outlets claiming that they're in charge, that Sony's in charge of From Software. I'm not seeing anybody claim that. Oh, you're the first person I've ever heard state this. If you can't provide me with a source, then it's to me, it stands as just a random claim with no basis at this point. Like, you told me to look it up. I'm not seeing any evidence that that's true. Tencent owns 16%. Tencent literally owns more of a percentage of FromSoft than Sony. Yeah, exactly. So they don't even own a majority. They don't. Looking at the sales so far, I don't think it flopped. Oh, commercially, I don't think Elden Ring Nightreign's in any danger at all. Sony owns 100% of Bungie, and they're still not in charge. Yeah, Sony went into a contract with Bungie, and Bungie's completely independent and publishing their own game. Marathon's not even published by Sony. It's published by Bungie. Sony's in charge of FromSoft and Marathon, Lono. Let's give it up. Yeah, that's what I mean. Sony just set like revenue records for a gaming company. They set their own records. Their stock value hit a record high historically for the company. They break every record there is, and people are like, yeah, but Marathon though. What? And now people are going to try to invoke, well, Nightreign has probably going to end up being one of the lowest scores of all of the recent FromSoft games. And if people try to pin that on Sony because they own 10% of Katakawa, good Lord, people are no longer starving. They're not starving anymore. They're dead. Like, they're dead. They're so malnourished for a win against the company they don't like that they're literally just grabbing on to the most delusional thing I think I've ever heard. Like, we've heard some Delulu takes recently. That one's pretty big. Until Bungie releases Marathon, it fails, and Sony comes in and says they didn't meet expectations. We're in charge now. That's the hope, obviously, that PlayStation steps in or just keeps absorbing more of the company, because they're not going to be able to keep the doors open. They're too big of a company. Bungie's far too large to keep failing and keep losing money. They are. Like, you start operating in the red, you're going to have to get rid of people. And that's when, PlayStation can just step in and absorb the people like they've already done. They've already absorbed like 200 employees. Of the 300 to 400 that have been laid off, about 200 or more have ended up at SIE. And then they spun up a new studio. I mean, the PlayStation's just going to sit there and be like, yeah, that's fine. We'll just take all your people. We'll fleece your whole company. We'll take it all. We don't care. I don't think they care at all about that. They probably want the name. And they probably want Destiny. But I don't think they care about like the leadership if they leave. Like if Pete Parsons leaves, I don't think Sony cares at all. I don't think Sony cares if a bunch of the dirty laundry gets aired. You know what I mean? I don't think they care if the dirty laundry gets aired. I think they would love for the Bungie leadership to get exposed and maybe even rightfully fired for misconduct. They didn't hesitate to fire back at Chris Barrett when he did his wrongful firing suit. I think Sony would be happy to go to court and go through discovery, and so that Bungie gets exposed. I don't think they care about that at all. Some Xbox podcasters are saying that Microsoft is helping PlayStation survive by bringing their games to them. Yeah, I was watching a video this morning, and it was like somebody was reacting to one of these podcasts, and man, oh man, it's just like, I don't even know what to say. I really, really don't. It would be like listening to one of my children try to talk about like astrophysics. It's just like, what? It just sounds like utter nonsense, the stuff that gets said. And the obsession over first party, they're still stuck on that. They just ignore the fact that exclusives are what actually matter, not first party cadence, because exclusives are what drive people to a platform. Historically, that's how the war was fought. That's how the war was essentially won. Because when you were screwing up with the Xbox One, exclusivity and Call of Duty were driving people, and Destiny were driving people to PlayStation. There were exclusive deals on every corner at that point in time. And the exclusive deals have continued to serve PlayStation rather well. With so Arrowhead's not a first-party studio, but Helldivers 2 was one of their most successful games. That's a first-party publishing effort. The first-party publishing effort with Stellar Blade, right? Then you have exclusivity deals with like Final Fantasy. Like, again, I think they obsess over something that doesn't matter so that they can convince themselves that they've won. It's like getting to the end of a baseball game and be like, well, we hit more foul balls, so we won. And it's like, what? That's not how you keep score. I don't understand. Like, you're just making up a way to keep score so that you can claim, yeah, that's that they're so down bad. Yeah, Sony's down bad setting records. I don't understand. Their share value hits a record, revenue hits a record. Their console's on pace with the former gen, and they haven't been able to do a price drop. They're keeping pace with a gen that was able to do a price drop. I don't get what these people are talking about. I really don't. I miss the real console wars, game versus game. That's what I'm saying, Monty. That's what I'm saying. I miss when that's what you would talk about. Oh, we got this game though. We got this game, and now it's just like. Now the battle is going to be like comparing revenue. Oh, okay. Even that's not working out in your favor just yet. Like, well, we get 70%. Oh my gosh. Like, what? So we went from celebrating like games and exclusivity deals and you know, which games were the best or won awards or had the best reviews or whatever, to now you're bragging about 70%. Like, all right. Okay, you can wave that victory flag all you want. I don't think anybody cares. The consumer doesn't care. I don't care. Like, oh, wow, they get 70% of the sale. Okay. Okay. I'm still bought Doom over here. You know what I mean? I mean, what do you 70% went to Xbox. You know what 70% is? 30% less than 100. I didn't buy it on Xbox. So that's 30% less than 100. Like, I don't know how you think that's a win. It's weird to me. It's like, okay. If you want to take it as a W, take it as a W. Yeah, and 100% of the cost. Exactly, Minch Tree. Like, Xbox takes all the risk. All the production costs that went into Doom the Dark Ages, that's all shouldered by Xbox. So if it doesn't sell that well, PlayStation's just like, well, thanks for 30% on, you know, 700,000 or whatever it sold on PlayStation. I don't know. Thanks for the 30% on something that we spent no money on. I don't think the lack of just basic business acumen, it's like that that's not a victory to be like, well, we're getting 70%. Yeah, but what if it doesn't sell well? If it doesn't sell well, that 70% doesn't matter much because you took on the operating cost of all those companies and all those studios. You took on all the risk. Who's making out like a bandit again? I don't think it's Xbox. I don't. It's just like, to me, that just seems like basic. That just seems very reasonable. Be like, they took an enormous risk by doing this. They really did. And it could pay off. It's paying off with Minecraft. It's paying off with King Mobile and Candy Crush. It's paying off with Call of Duty. But any game that comes out and doesn't sell that well, that's an enormous risk that Xbox has to weather. And it does nothing to PlayStation. It doesn't do anything to PlayStation. And the average consumer doesn't know what any of these terms mean. All they know is that PlayStation's getting more games quantitatively. That's all the consumer knows. So end of this year, the average consumer is going to say, so I can get Indiana Jones and Oblivion and Doom and Death Stranding 2 and Yote and Lost Soul Aside and Call of Duty all on PlayStation. But if I go to Xbox, I can't get Death Stranding 2 and Yote and Lost Soul Aside. Oh, I also can't get the backlog either. I can't get God of War, Horizon, Spider-Man 2, Returnal, Ratchet & Clank. You know what I mean? Like, it's so weird to me. It's like it's not going to compel anybody to switch. It isn't. They're just going to be like, well, I can get... Well, no, it'll compel people to switch to PlayStation, but it's not going to compel people to go the other direction. It's like, I can get more games over here. Now, yes... People will say, go to PC and you get it all. ... Not really. Yes, you get more games on PC, and yes, you get some of the PlayStation first party if you're willing to wait. Both of those options, to me, are equally good dependent upon the player. PC is a great option. PlayStation is a great option. They're equal, in my mind, as options. Which one's better is just dependent on the player. So whatever player is deciding... it's time for me to switch, I want to go where I'm going to get more games, they're going to be looking at PC and PlayStation. And I think both options are great. If you can only afford one console, get a PC, right? If you're strapped for cash, buy the system that is, notorious for being more expensive if you want it to actually have the most value. But yeah. Helps them cope, I guess, and it proves that they still don't care about gaming since some of them can't move on. Yeah, I mean, the discussion ended as soon as we heard about the big three, Forza and then Gears, and we all know that, like, the teetering tower of Halo is about to just go boom and land on PlayStation. We know it's coming. As soon as that happens, it's like, brother, what are we even talking about here? You just became Sega. It's a wrap. It's a wrap. Like, everybody's going to either move to PlayStation or PC. And this is all connected to the Xbox handheld strategy. It's like they could be severely reconsidering their hardware strategies because everybody, I'm saying this generically, large swaths of players are going to leave Xbox hardware over the next 5 years. They're going to leave. What are you staying for? You can go to PC and get Game Pass for cheaper. A bunch of people are going to do that. You can go to PlayStation and you can get PlayStation games day and date and not have to wait, and you still get the Xbox games. Both of those options are pretty good to anybody who feels like, man, Xbox really turned their back on me. I'm saying this under the heading of, what's the point of Xbox hardware once folks start doing that? What's the point? Imagine, let's just say, over the course of the next couple of years, there's like 1 million people that decide to go to PC and do PC Game Pass, right? They're like, it's a better price, it's cheaper, I can get day and date on PC. Oh, and this coincides with Windows 11 optimization for gaming on handhelds as well, because then people are going to start buying the handhelds and being like, oh yeah, I can just game here and I can get Game Pass here. I can just get Game Pass on my PC. So what I'm saying is they're leaving Xbox console hardware to land on like an Asus Steam Deck or PC. Let's just say 1 million people do that over the course of the next couple of years, and then another 1 million go to PlayStation. Okay? You just start to see that exodus take place. Xbox has got to already be internally saying, we're selling less than the Xbox One gen. That was already considered a failed gen. We're failing worse. Why would we do hardware again? Not only that, you've put Exodus into overdrive by basically saying, we're going to put our games everywhere. We don't have exclusives anymore. Like, do you see what I'm saying? Like, I would bring up them getting out of hardware in the past, and I would get absolutely mocked and eviscerated by people for saying that. And I'm like, but why would they? What's the point of staying? Now, again, this came from understanding what they were doing. Like, I heard what the CFO said, and I heard what Satya said, and I said, dude, I think hardware is done. You start moving your games to other platforms, you're going to erode the consumer loyalty to the box. And then you start saying, well, everything's an Xbox. What the huh? They're eroding the need for the console at every turn. They are. Like, if there's no longer exclusives, if everything's basically an Xbox, and they've made Game Pass cheaper on PC than for day and date, homie, they're basically flashing a sign in your face telling you to get off the console. Nobody prefer Windows Store over Steam. Oh, that's another thing that's probably... I'm here to tell you, I think they're backing a losing horse by doing that. I think Steam OS is going to become the de facto for handhelds. I don't think anybody's going to want to deal with Windows. I don't think Microsoft doesn't have the chops to make their software compelling, is what I would say. They're too utilitarian. Their history is just very like tool-based, utilitarian, ship it, we'll fix it later. You know, their contract policies and everything else. I don't think they stand a chance. SteamOS is going to be so much more lightweight and easier to manage and easier to make appealing and good and also catered to gamers. I don't know. That feels like another losing battle to me. That feels like another losing battle. Just publish. Get the frick out. I don't know what you're wasting your time for with all this. I mean, and again, if you're going to go to the market in a couple of years and be choosing between an Asus that's got SteamOS on it and an Asus that's got Windows on it, man, I'm here to tell you, you already lost that fight. You did. You're Windows, man. There's a stigma. You're an operating system. You're Microsoft Office and email and cloud. Bleh. Like, that's not gaming. That's not appealing. SteamOS, people get a look at it in the store. I don't know. What's the point at that point? Especially if you're just publishing your games in Steam anyway. You're just publishing your games in Steam. Just make money in the Steam OS. Where's the money in it? I don't understand. How much money are you honestly going to make on an Asus ROG OEM that's got your branding on it? You're not supposed to say the quiet part out loud. Some of these Xbox console owners are going to reframe everything you're saying, even though you're 100% correct here. I don't understand what the end game is. It's like, just admit defeat, say you're a publisher, and get on with it. Like, it doesn't make any sense to me. Why are you continuing to hold out everybody's hope with this? Like, that's why I put canceled with a question mark. It's like, I think it's canceled. I don't think they're ever going to do their own handheld. I think they're going to see that it's way less expensive to just have somebody else make the hardware for us. We'll make the software better. They are a software company. I'm not saying that Windows can't be improved. I'm saying the consumer perception is going to be, if I'm going to buy a gaming device, do I want something with the Steam OS and all my Steam stuff, or do I want to buy something with Windows on it? Like, I don't think they have that standing in the public for somebody to say, yeah, I want to buy a gaming device with Windows. You got to think about the average person that's going to the store to consider a handheld. They're not going to want to deal with Windows. They're going to be like, no, give me something lightweight. I just want to play games. I'm an Xbox owner, and Lono is right. Microsoft has no positive outlook right now. The console failed. Microsoft games are forgettable and garbage. No, I don't think they're forgettable and garbage. No. Doom, I think, is quite good. I know it didn't do as well as other Dooms, it seems. The Oblivion remaster did very well. Very, very well. And highly praised, highly popular. They had a really, really good snag. It's not their game, but the Game Pass deal with Expedition 33 was a really smart play. They saw what I saw. They saw potential. They probably didn't have to write a very big check because smaller studio. Outer Worlds 2 is coming. An annual Call of Duty is coming. I don't think their games are forgettable. Now, I do think they need to get quality under control. Doom shipped in great shape, and we hope that Call of Duty ships in great shape. We hope that Outer Worlds 2 ships in great shape, okay? Then you've got things beyond that. Fable, Perfect Dark, State of Decay, right? They've got a lot of big names and titles. A Clockwork Revolution, I think, looks really cool. So I don't think their games are like trash and forgettable. I think they've improved their cadence and their quality. Quality is key, right? We know Gears of War E-Day's coming. We know that Gears Remastered's coming. These are all not... I wouldn't consider these to be forgettable anything. These are names and games that people recognize. They just need to work on quality. They have far too many titles in studios now to be shipping anything that isn't ready. Don't ship another 30 FPS game. Do not ship games that aren't ready. You've got too many games to do that. There's no excuse. You can fill the dadgum calendar. Don't you dare. Yeah, South of Midnight... Smaller, lesser known. I thought South of Midnight was quite good. I would love for them to improve the combat. If it ever gets ported to PlayStation, I would hope by then the combat is in a better place. Like, do like a 2.0 rehash of it. There's just some things they need to do with the targeting and the flow, and it would be so much better. But the art direction and the voice acting and the world and the platforming and exploration, I thought that was a great game. I just don't know why they would be bothering with, handhelds and hardware. I just don't know. I don't see the reason for it. They can say, oh, no, we're still committed to doing a handheld in the future. I'll be honest with you, man. That just sounds like they're satiating the audience again. You know what that sounds like to me? That sounds like just 4 games. That's what it sounds like to me. Oh yeah. The handheld that we were really, letting people know about, and everybody's really big on, and Phil Spencer kept hinting about it, and we pushed that to the side. We're going to focus on this, but we're still committed to doing it. Okay, yeah, sure. It doesn't feel. I don't know. I don't see the angle for Microsoft. I don't see the angle. It's like, what's the angle here? Why would you do it? What kind of money could you honestly make from the research and development? You got to think of everything that goes into making your own hardware. You got to do the research and development. Then you got to get all of the raw materials. You got to spin up production, distribution, and hope that demand makes it all worth it. Putting the handheld on pause is like, these are the only 3 games thing all over again. That's what I just said. Like, it literally sounds like just 4 games. That's what it sounds like to me. You're just satiating the dwindling audience that trusts you. The Xbox Handheld is the new Project Keystone. If there's a company that I would say has, like, zero qualms, zero problem with just pulling the lever on the guillotine and killing something, then I asked Microsoft, which handheld? Their own, Eugene. They have put their own handheld, not the Asus OEM. They're going to focus more on OEM devices and getting Windows 11 optimized for gaming. Their actual Xbox handheld has been put on hold. And I'm here to tell you that it probably will never see the light of day. I just don't see the angle. They're going to start to realize it's way cheaper to have other people make hardware for you, and you slap your name on it, and you get your Windows 11 to a better place with gaming, so you maintain that presence in the gaming ecosystem, and then you just stop doing hardware. It's the same thing they did with exclusives. They started getting a taste of publishing with Minecraft, and they're like, why don't we just do this? We're going to make more money, and that's what they did. Nobody saw the writing on the wall, and I tried to say for 2 years, Phil Spencer, when he did the interview with Famitsu, and they were like, you're calling Nintendo and PlayStation part of the community. When did this change occur? And Phil Spencer said, Minecraft. Minecraft changed their perspective on the entire industry. Matt Booty said in the podcast, he said, there are games right now that are bigger than just a single platform. And he says, and that's really changed the way we think about things. He's referencing Minecraft when he says that. He's also, like, tangentially referencing, like, Fortnite. But it's like, Minecraft changed their entire perspective. They went from saying, we got ZeniMax to put more exclusives where Game Pass lives, to saying, we don't really do exclusives anymore. Yeah, I mean, come on. Like, they're going to do the same thing with hardware. They're going to go through the exact same process with hardware. They're going to wave the hand and make assurances about, oh yeah, just 4 games. And everyone's going to go, see, they're only doing 4. And they're going to do the same thing with this dadgum handheld. They're like, no. They said they're still going to do it. It's on hold, but they're still going to do it. Yeah, sure. They're doing the same thing. Oh my gosh, I told you. When Phil Spencer started talking about hardware and he started contradicting himself, saying, we want our hardware to win, but then in the very same week did a podcast where said, we're not trying to win people over to our hardware. It's like, which is it? What are you talking about? You're not making any sense, Phil. What did I say? I said, that is a red flag. When Phil Spencer starts contradicting himself, it means the plan is changing in the background. And here we are. I told you. The hardware plan was changing in the background. That's why he was contradicting himself. You can't get the messaging straight when the messaging is moving along with the plan. It's like, what? I don't know what you're doing. They didn't know what they were doing. It was like when he said, just 4 games, this is not a signal that everything's coming. And the very same day, he has an interview with The Verge where he's like, nothing is off the table. Okay, it sounds like you're contradicting yourself. Why? The plan was changing in the background. And that's exactly what has happened with hardware. If you right now are confident or have any shred of confidence that they're going to do a handheld in the future or a console in the future, buddy, I would put all that on hold. I would put all that on hold. I'm dead serious. They're following the same pattern they followed with getting rid of exclusives. They do a little bit, and then a little bit, and then a little bit, and they try to do this like don't look behind the curtain crap to make everybody calm down. Like when Phil Spencer does the interview and says, we have no plans to put Game Pass on PlayStation or Nintendo. What did he do? That's a looky-loo if I've ever seen one. He gets everybody to look over there at Game Pass. Oh, see, they're not going to put their games on cartridge. It's like, that's, oh my gosh. He didn't even answer the question. He didn't even answer the burning question. Are you going to put your first-party games on Nintendo and PlayStation? That was the question. He miraculously doesn't have to answer that question. And everybody's satiated. And here we are again. The news is broke in a way to make people think it's still coming. No way. I don't buy it. The pattern is clear. The messaging starts to feel contradictory, indicating plans are changing in the background. First shot across the bow is done in a way to satiate. Just 4 games. And then, floodgates open. Right? This is following the same pattern. All of a sudden, dialogue on hardware starts to conflict and doesn't sound like he's saying the same thing in the same places or in different places. That, to me, as I said at the time, that indicates that the plans in the background are changing. And what happens? First shot across the bow is done in a way to satiate people. No. We're still going to do the handheld. Don't worry. Oh, sure. At this point, you should see what's coming. They don't want to tell you the truth, so they're making it seem like all is well, and they're going to have this mirage of hardware presence through OEM devices like with Asus, and then they're going to back out of hardware. And you're going to be sitting there thinking, what the frick, man? You made it sound like you were going to keep doing hardware. Yeah, they also made it sound like they were only going to move 4 games. You got to catch up. You're getting lapped by them. Like they're just lapping you in the race, making you think something's going to happen when it's not going to happen. I'm dead serious. I think they are completely exiting hardware. They just, why would they spend the money on it? The demand for their hardware has got to be, by the time 2027 rolls around, it will be in the toilet beneath the earth. Like no one's going to want your hardware. It'll be so much wasted money and time. They can make way more money through publishing. Anyone who is critical of Xbox can see through Phil Spencer's BS. Nintendo and PlayStation are Japanese hardware. Xbox is irrelevant in Japan. And you know how they get relevancy in Japan? Publishing. PC Game Pass. That's it. That's how they grow in Japan. I mean it. I think the hardware is done. I think they're done. I think the hybrid PC, that'll end up being an OEM. I bet somebody else makes it. If it even comes to market, it'll be like a pre-built PC with Xbox slapped on it, and they'll make it really easy to plug into your television, and it'll be made by somebody else. I would put dollars on the table and bet that that's how that comes to market. I hope you're wrong. The more hardware, the better. The more good hardware, the better. But again, what's the reason to buy their hardware? Oh, you can sideload Steam. Okay, what? That's compelling to me. That's not compelling to the average consumer. And if it is compelling to the average consumer, it's cheaper for Xbox to have somebody else make it. It's going to be a cloud console hybrid with an AI chip. Man, I don't know, boys. I don't know. There's a pattern here. There's a pattern. I feel like I've had Phil pegged every step of the way, and I feel like I got him again. I'm like, nope, I know what you're doing. And I called it. I called it back when he was contradicting himself a couple of months ago. I told y'all. I said, he's starting to do that thing where he's contradicting himself, and that means the plans are changing. Thank you for the 5-bomb and a renewal from Hyde. Thank you, Hyde, for doing 26 months. And that gets us to... What? Use Discord from the overlay live? What the heck is that? 8:35. What the heck? Why is that showing up? Can you guys see that? I didn't do that. I didn't tell that to turn on. I see nothing. You don't see my name popping up right here. And my face. Discord's doing something, and it's I don't want it to do. What the is Discord doing? I'm having pop-ups and stuff in Windows. Why is it doing that? I didn't turn any of those features on. I'm having like pop-ups up here on my monitor from Discord. What the devil did they do? How do I turn this crap off? I tell you what, if there's one thing that makes my blood boil, it is when a stupid piece of software decides we just went and changed settings. Leave a comment. I hate it. Why are you turning this feature off? I hate it. That's why. That's all you need to know. Enable overlay. There. Get the frick out of here. We just changed the setting and now stuff's popping up. You got an overlay. I didn't ask you to do that. What are you doing, Discord? Get the frick out of here. And a 5-bomb from Siege Master. He's playing both sides of the aisle. He gifted 5 on YouTube. He gifted 5 on Twitch. Thank you so much so much for doing that. Jiminy Christmas. Want to complain about seeing his own face? It was super confusing. I'm just doing my thing in OBS, and all of a sudden I can see my face. You know when you watch those podcasts like Mooch and the Boys, and you can see their names, and you can see when they're talking? It did that, and it was like, do you want to put this in OBS? And I'm like, no. What the, huh? And then it kept popping up, and then something else popped up to let me know what somebody was doing. Like, somebody's playing a game. What in the world are you doing? I didn't turn any of this on. It was Madam. She snuck in. I'm assuming that they pushed out an update to Discord, and they're wanting to show off the new feature. That's fine. Do it as a pop-up and ask me if I want to turn it on. Don't just turn it on, and also I've got stuff popping up. No, don't do that. That's annoying. We just figured an update that spams your monitor would be an attractive feature for our users. Yeah, I guess. Jeepers. By the way, the next milestone's 850. We are a 10-bomb away, so whoever hits it gets it. I have to add here, though, this should be a 12, and then this should be a 12. It's now tied between the platforms. That was so distracting. I don't even remember what we were talking about. Lona complaining about seeing his own face. One of us. That's right. American Arcadia is on sale right now on Steam. 50% off. It's $10 instead of $20. If you guys have been watching or wishlisted that game, I just got an email. It's on sale on Steam right now. Xbox's problem is they lost the console market, and we're attempting to enter a handheld market where their hardware would already be obsolete due to the Xbox games in Steam. Oh, I didn't read your renewal. On hold equals wait until. Thank you, Hyde. I'm sorry, Hyde. I got super distracted by that thing that happened. Yeah. No, I agree with you, Hyde. We are once again in the wait until. It's like it's the wait until. It's the mantra of the brand. You know, just 4 games. Yeah, wait until it's not. We're putting the console handheld on hold. So just, wait until. Wait until what? You admit that it's not happening? You're playing Nightreign solo right now, getting absolutely dunked on. I think it might be a complete waste of time for me to play that solo today. It sounds like you're going to have to play with the boys. You're not going to really want to go in and play by yourself. Like, I'm not some top-tier player. You know what I mean? I can hold my own in those games, but there ain't no way. It's very tough. Yeah. It's probably not in the interest of making good content. That's probably not good content. Like, dive in by myself and just get bodied, you know? And I said it on Twitter, I'll say it again. Y'all need to pay attention to that Play Rematch game, that soccer game from the makers of Sifu. They got something there, boys. They got something. They hit like 150,000 on Steam in the beta. And the beta's like invite only. A waste of your time, perhaps. Entertaining for your viewers. We want to see you rage quit. Good content for us. Frick y'all! Everyone I watched play it solo last night stopped playing solo. They all said it was impossible. So then we don't need to waste time running the experiment. If people streaming it discovered the same thing, there's no reason for me to come to the same conclusion. Awesome for Slow Clap, but selfishly, I would hate to lose them if they fully supported it and we never see games from them anymore. I need Sifu successor. I would imagine if Rematch does very well, they would then use it to fund a Sifu sequel, I would think. Since Sifu has an episode in Secret Level and more coming. That was one of my favorites, and it was too short. These media outlets are making it sound like the Xbox dedicated handheld was delayed. Honestly, I've learned to keep my expectations low when it comes to their business plans. I don't think that it's delayed. I think it's canceled. I think it's done. What Lona was seeing. That's right. Elden Ring Nightreign update offers solo players a helping hand not even 24 hours after launch because cowards cried too loud. What do they do? VG247's taking it personal. You cowards. You cowards cried too loud. Connor over there at VG247, he took it personal. Elden Ring has Nightreign's not been out for 24 hours, and already the game has been made easier for solo players. Those tackling solo runs will get one free revive during the Night Lord fight. That's part of the run, and will get increased rune acquisition for the entire time. A solo run, which is already scaled so that bosses have less health and offers a purchasable revive before the Night Lord fight for measly 10,000 runes, was added for those who enjoy the challenge of taking on a game intended for a group to play on their lonesome. Fair play, you know. It's not how I best enjoyed the game, but Godspeed, Captain, take the wheel. For those who are actually excited to take on the game the way with all its struggle and the name of fulfillment through overcoming adversity, however, their dreams have been hampered by the wails and moans of, he typed whittle babies who want the solo experience to be easier. You understand, I mean, he may be being a bit tongue-in-cheek here, but you understand, Connor, who writes for VG247, you understand that, like, part of these games is balancing the fail rate so that people have a good time. The games are designed to be beaten. They're not designed to have absurd fail rates so that no one wants to play. Like, they are a business after all, right? Thank you so much. Rock and Robin gifts us a member over here on YouTube and gets us within 9 of 850. And Manuel with a $2 super chat says, should play Rematch for community game night. It would be really fun to play for community game night. Yeah, it would. Eugene says, I watched skilled solo players. The health pools are not that balanced for solo. Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, again, he could be being tongue-in-cheek, because let's go full screen, because I want to make the text bigger. He says, they want their warm bottle, a little bib, and for the process of actually overcoming the challenge present in Nightreign to be lowered so they don't have to work as hard to succeed. This is a complete, I think, bad faith and uncharitable way to repackage criticism if the game doesn't feel like it's balanced well. You know what I mean? A 5-bomb comes in from Joker Quinn and gets us to 846. Now remember, Whoever hits it gets it. Twitch, it's your time to shine. It's only 4. It's 4 away from 850. Lono trying to get me to like soccer. Nice try. Wheezy. Listen to me, Wheeze. Listen to me, brother. The individual skill expression in that game is why I think Rematch is going to soar. I think it's going to be very popular. And there it is. Narwaffle does it. A 5 bomb for Twitch. He steals it from YouTube. Too slow, Rockin' Robin. Too slow. A 5 bomb comes in from Rockin' Robin, and it just wasn't quick enough. Thank you very much, Rockin' Robin. I'm effing with you. If they have an open beta, I'll check it out. Wheeze, if you just go to playrematch.com, you can request a key, and I think everybody's getting one. Yeah. Homie, I would check it out. Wheeze, I played the tutorial, and I told people the next day, I said, they got something. I said, y'all watch this game. I played the tutorial, and I was like, they got something. I think high-level players are going to absolutely dig it. They're going to dig it. There is a lot of individual skill expression in everything you can do, from goalkeeping to defending to shooting to moving. I'm telling you. I remember when we watched the trailer, I said, I don't know. I said, that could be something. And then I played the tutorial, and I was like, boys, I would keep an eye on this game. I would. It's third-person soccer, not FIFA. Yeah. There'll be rematch tournaments for sure. Yeah. Hang on. I got to gift 5 members over here on Twitch. We are 24 away from our sub point threshold. We need 24 more subs on Twitch. Can you guys help us hit that today over there on Twitch? Just 24 more. I don't know if I have a goal going or not. Manage goals. No, yeah, the goal is going. 24 more. Yeah. Just go to their Steam page. Oh, did they just open it up to everybody? Or do you just go to the Steam page and request? I didn't know it was that easy. I went to playrematch.com and requested it I just requested a PS5 code and I got it. They sent it to me like a day later. Oh, you get access right away on Steam. Oh yeah, dude, Wheeze. Play through that tutorial and come tell me, like, come on now. I'm telling you, they got something. There's something there, dude. They had like 150,000 people already concurrent on Steam charts for a beta. Like, yep. Lot of potential. Did it through stream, got it the next day. Yeah, apparently Wheeze got it like right away. Yeah. I'm excited for them. Like, Sifu did well. I really just wish they would have made some changes to some of the telegraphs in Sifu. Because I did like Sifu initially, and then some of the telegraphs annoyed me. It was the red ones, and the way you could do the blocking. There was something that they did where I kept triggering the wrong type of block or something, and it was like I just needed to be able to see the telegraphs better. Yeah, rematch, Omar. Yep. I think the studio has potential. They're very, very good at individual control of a character. It feels excellent. Wait, what game are we talking about? So it's here. I'll show you. It's called Play Rematch, okay? So if you've never played Sifu, let me just show you Sifu, okay? So Sifu was basically like a kung fu game, but set into like a rogue sort of environment, all right? So it's a kung fu game, and you would go into these environments, and you could use things in the environment, and you were basically doing like really, really thoughtful, very intentional hand-to-hand. Blocks, dodges, parries, a lot of punchy punch, okay? People really liked it. Sifu is kind of a beloved title. It's got like a cult following. This is a really good one here too. This is a good section because it switches to the side-by-side, and you just kind of like fight your way through. Reminiscent of a famous fight in a famous movie. I forget the name of it. But the fight through the hall, this has been done in many other works of cinema as well. The side hall fight. Okay, so that's Sifu. All right, the makers of that game, they made a soccer game called rematch. Okay. And let me show you rematch from the studio behind Sifu. There you go. So the key to this game is that you're individually controlling the characters. I believe 3v3 and 4v4 is the setup. So you can be controlling a striker, you can be controlling a defender, you can be controlling the goal keep. Now, the thing that they're not showing you, let me just show you on a shot here. Okay. So when he shoots this shot, okay, you see where he's aiming? That's controlled by his right joystick. He can use his left joystick as he kicks the ball he could have kicked it and he could have had it hook this way if he would have held left. He could have had it hook this way if he held right. So what he could have done is he could have aimed his reticle at the middle and then hooked the ball to the right, making it harder to defend against. Because if the trajectory of the ball hooks like that, the goalkeeper's going to have a hard time knowing, do I jump up or do I make a leap for the corner, right? Because there's actual goalkeeping. You actually can control the goalie. Like you can be goalie, and you've got to do this. You've got to pick a direction to dive for the ball. You can apply spin. Yes. So you aim with the right joystick, and as you're hitting, you pull left or right on the joystick, and you can make the ball hook. So you can kick it out this way and have it hook in. I'm here to tell you, they've got something. They really, really do, because there's a much higher level of skill ceiling that I don't think a lot of people initially are going to be aware of. Watching high-level players play is going to be... I'm serious. I think they've got something. I think it could end up being a very popular game, and you could see orgs and teams get behind it. You could. You very, 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 very much could see that happen. So, I'm telling you, keep an eye on Rematch. Very, very well built, very thoughtful, and I think when you bake that kind of skill ceiling in, it's kind of like how like Rocket League is simple, and yet it's not. Like, it's not. Oh, is that from a movie called Old Boy? That's where the initial hall fight happened? Yeah. Easy to play, difficult to master. Yeah, there are people who play Rocket League, and then there are people who play Rocket League. And I think you're going to see similar things happen with that soccer game. As good as the 4-player World Cup on the NES, nothing is ever going to be as good as that, Derek, and you know that. I don't know why you would ask such a foolish question. Listen, boys. Nothing will ever beat this game. This is the greatest soccer game ever created. Like, what are we even talking about here? You think you can beat this? You think you can beat that? Look at that. What an amazing clear. Right there. Oh. I mean, look at that. The bicycle right in front of the goalie. The attempt at the slide. The miss check. Oh my gosh. He's going to be there for the rebound. Oh, he gets slid. Oh my gosh. This is just the best. It's so intense. I can already feel the tension. He tried it again. He tried to bicycle. Right there. There's 15 seconds left. We'll see if they can put another score on the board, if any at all. Right there inside the goal. He does it. The bicycle for 26-0. See what I'm saying? This game, that game is the game, bros. That is it. That's the best soccer game ever made. The freaking strategy. The strategy to bicycle in the dadgum goal. Yeah, 26-0. Oh my gosh. Where is split screen? I know, dude. Let's just shoutcast old Nintendo games. That's where the future of gaming is. You know, that's where the future of game coverage is. You could literally slide tackle people until they just wouldn't get up anymore. There was a couple on the field. You could see them. They were just laying there. They would just give up. Wait. Wasn't there the one, a dodgeball looked exactly the same. Dodgeball, you would hit them, and like their little angel would float above them. They would die. You would kill people in dodgeball. They died. Their soul would leave their body. In soccer, they would eventually get back up. Yeah, next half or whatever. Oh, man. You have a talent for shoutcasting. Any plans to revisit that in the future? Oh, I don't know. We do it for fun every now and again, but like that's probably not a future for me, man. You know what I mean? That's just tough. That's tough to get back on the table. You know, companies aren't going to want to put me on the table. The only way that would happen is if like I was like 100% vindicated and like people came out and were like, yeah, we lied, he's innocent. That's never going to happen. Organizations are never going to touch something like that. They're just going to be like, yeah, I'm sorry. Got to keep our distance, you know. Shoutcasting double dribble would be amazing. Or NBA Jam, yeah. Customization is crazy. They have a lot of cosmetics. I mean, I'm assuming, given the studio, they'll probably be not scummy about it. You know? Yes, in Dodgeball, the best sub game, Beanball, they literally die on screen. Yeah. Yeah. Well, and then I think in Dodgeball, couldn't you do the thing, I'm trying to remember, you would run and different characters had super throws where the ball would be like, it would like fly really fast, or it would do like a wave thing. Yeah, NBA Jam's tough to compete with. He's on fire! Boom! Shakalaka! Like, yeah, it's hard to compete with the announcer who's already in the game. Maybe Jake and Logan Paul could help with vindicating you. I don't think they would ever have an interest in doing anything with me. I'm not big enough. Yo, Gritter with 18 months. Thank you so much. Appreciate that. Wait, did I add? I don't think I did. It was a 5 from each, right? It's tied up 17-17. Tecmo Wrestling? I don't remember Tecmo Wrestling. All I know is Tecmo Super Bowl had like the best music ever. Yeah, we didn't play this wrestling game. We played the one with Starman and King Corn Karn. And when you won, it said, a winner is you. That was the wrestling game that we played. Yes, Lona, we know your feet don't touch the floor. Thank you, Joker Quinn. Have you ever considered collabing with Legendary Drops? You and him have very similar opinions. I like LD and I like his content. Unfortunately, somebody clipped me out of context and he thought I was like having a go at him, and I wasn't. It was about the inflation thing. So the efforts on Twitter are sadly actually really effective at making people be like, well, I'm never going to work with that guy, because they don't take the time to investigate. They just see the clip and come to the conclusion, which you would think content creators would know. Like, that happens to them all the time. Like, I would never do that to another content creator, ever. I'd be like, it happens to me all the time. I'm pretty sure I need to see the full context here. Like, if somebody clipped, LD, and we're like, yeah, you say he's talking crap about you, I'd be like, yeah, right, let me go watch the clip. Like, you know what I mean? So, isn't he a culture warrior? I don't think so. I've not gotten that vibe. Some of his videos have certainly leaned into some of that, but like, I didn't feel that he was like banging on the drum like others were. I don't feel like it's a grift. I feel like he genuinely thinks what he thinks, which I'm okay with that. Like if he genuinely thinks the things that he's saying, that doesn't bother me. Then it's just a matter of if I agree or not. Does that make sense? I feel like a lot of the people that started banging on those drums, they don't give a frick. They don't care. They're just capitalizing on the moment. That doesn't feel like, I don't get that vibe from his content at all. His videos are too long for that to be the case. Like he just sits and talks. The grift is usually done in a way that feels like super like manipulative. He says they a lot. Well, I watched his video through Asmongold about the $80 price point, and him and Asmongold do something a lot in their argumentation that I don't like. They presume a broad negative that's not substantiated, and I've always find that to be annoying. But what are you going to do? Like, not everybody's going to take the time to, like, exhaustively make their point. Yo, a 5-bomb and a single comes in from Rissick. That is 6. I'm not quite sure what you're doing, Rissick, but 863. There we go. And then that makes us 23. This is very common in internet argumentation and YouTube videos. They presume this super broad negative. I'm like, you've not established that. You're just presuming and assuming it. You're just presuming and assuming the negative. And it's like, but you've not established that. You just presume and assume it. It's like these broad strokes. I've always found that to be annoying, and it happens commonly in that type of video. You know what I'm saying? And it's not like, I would take that over like the grifters, but I certainly think that that's a common flaw in argumentation in videos. And it's because the viewer's not going to call them on it. The viewer's just going to be like, yep, I agree. Like, let's take, for instance, we commonly had this happen, in recent years. People will come in and say, yeah, gaming just sucks right now. AAA game studios, they all suck. Okay, that's just a presumed broad negative that has not been established. You know what I mean? It's not been established, and yet they say it as if it's true. They say it as it's gospel. So there's a lot of like presumed negative headcanon that gets baked into videos, and it always annoys me. I'm like, you haven't established that. So that's an example of like one that would happen commonly in our conversations, and I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about. AAA studios are both doing good and bad. It's not all or nothing. Adam says, I'm not an LD fan. Lono is actually apolitical. LD seems to hide behind plausible deniability with bringing in politics. I've seen people accuse him of that. I guess somebody did a video on him and said that. I would need to watch the video because I don't necessarily know if I have a problem with like somebody vaguely letting their political slip show, but like not getting into politics. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know if I have a problem with that necessarily. Like, you're going to naturally let your political slip show sometimes when you're talking about this stuff. But if the video's not getting political and he's not like, yeah, this is just what the Democrats do. Like, if he's not doing that, then I'm okay with it. It's like, no, everybody's going to have a lean and a bias that's going to bleed through. I think it's unavoidable. He talks in very broad sweeping terms in a lot of his vids. Yeah, and those are the times where I don't enjoy the video as much. He has made videos that I've really enjoyed, and then there are other times where I'm like, you're just presuming the negative. You've not established that, and it weakens the video in my mind. You can make whatever content you want, but to me, it's like, let me see if there some of the videos that I've enjoyed were the Bungie is so cooked video I thought was good. Marathon doesn't make sense video I thought was good when he says they don't get it. I thought that was a good one. I turned off his Naughty Dog has completely lost the plot video where the thumbnail says who gives a that was an example of a video where what Neil said in the context of how it was said was very, very much misrepresented, not just by LD, but a ton of people really misrepresented the conversation and what Druckmann said. A lot of people made it seem like Druckmann said it, and it wasn't Druckmann, it was the guy interviewing him, and it annoyed me. So there are times where that's a good example of, like, I found like his marathon videos to be very good, and then that one about Intergalactic and Druckmann, I shut it off. I was like, this has got so much inaccuracy in it. I just shut it off. I was like, no. It just very much felt like it wasn't framed well, and I was like, a lot of people did that with that interview with Druckmann, and I'm not a huge fan of Druckmann either. I don't like, how he's handled season 2 of The Last of Us. I don't like how he does extra canonical claims about part 1 and The Cure. I find that to be annoying. So I'm not like a Druckmann fanboy. I just didn't think he was treated fairly. I am never, ever a fan when someone is quoted in a way that is super egregiously or negatively framed. I find that to be annoying. It's super common in our industry. It's that people do it to me all of the time. And when somebody did it to Druckmann, I just have a disdain for it. Who did I watch recently? And everything he was saying, I was like, I agree. Oh, what was his name? Was it Birdman? Was that who it was? I swear it was Birdman. And he was saying how he gets off on like pointing out when someone says something false and how it drives him crazy. And he was really, really heavily going after, a lot of the anti-woke grifters. Yeah, the Birdman. He spells it with a 3 for the. This guy here. I thought I subscribed to him. I didn't subscribe to him. There we go. This guy, I was like lock in step in the one video. I was like lock in step with everything he was saying. He was like, he doesn't care about the individual culture war or winning points. He can't stand when people say things that are false. And I was like, I 100% like agreed with him. I was like, that's exactly the thing that has irritated me so much over the years with coverage, is that they will bake in misstatements or misrepresentations or false frames, and it irritates the fire out of me. I will absolutely fixate it. I will fixate on it like a dog with a bone. It's like, don't do that. I think you mean in lockstep? No. Oh, is it lockstep? I thought it was lock in step. It's lockstep. Lockstep can refer to military marching. I always thought it was lock in step. Huh. Yeah, I've been saying it wrong. It's in lockstep. Yeah, I was in lockstep with this video. Sorry. Yeah. You can tell by a creator's comment section and live stream chat what kind of narrative is favored. I see some outright brain dead and nasty comments under certain creators' content. I think one of the reasons why I don't think I will ever have meteoric growth is because there is absolutely never an air of audience capture in how I approach things, probably to a fault. I probably drive people away that would watch and enjoy if I was maybe like a little less brash or a little less sharp, or you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I feel like I probably hinder my growth by being like, I'm not going to be audience captured. I don't freaking care if you don't agree with me. Like, I'll say what I'm going to say, whether it's $80 games or inflation discussions or, is it all greed? I know that doesn't appeal to the masses. That's why when people call me a grifter, it's hilarious. It's like, wait, how am I grifting? I'm literally saying things that aren't popular. I'm saying things that the general gaming community doesn't like or agree with. Like, I don't grift. I don't pander. I say the thing that a lot of times people don't even like hearing. They're like, what? Or they'll disagree. Like, long-standing members will be like, yeah, I don't agree with you on that one, Lono. Holy crap, you know what I mean? The Birdman's extremely good with his videos. I like how he also backs up his videos with well-done research. Yeah, I loved everything about the couple of videos that he had that I watched. I think I watched like two, maybe three. That's why I watch you. You don't pander. You keep things gaming, and you don't lean in a particular way. Yeah, like you may disagree with me on a particular topic, but at least you know I said what I actually think. You're never going to walk away and be like, no, Lono's audience captured. He's pandering. It's like, no. I will literally say whatever I think, like whether it's calling PlayStation stupid or calling this dumb or that, or being like, yeah, I mean, we should have expected $80 price points. That's me literally breaking from the audience. That's like the opposite of the grift. The grift is you say what people want to hear and you don't really mean it. You're just latching on to whatever's happening. Like, yeah, he's woke this and woke that. Like, with my ability to argue and articulate, and with what I look like, I could have easily capitalized on all that woke stuff. That'd have been easy money. That'd have been easy. Holy crap. That would have been like taking candy from a baby. Because a lot of the people that did the anti-woke grift, their argumentation methods are horrendously bad. I mean, they're terrible. You suddenly put somebody in the seat with a higher level of argumentation vocabulary, and you're arguing like, this game is woke. Like, oh my gosh. It would have been easy. But it's like, I don't believe it. I'm not buying into this crap. I'm not buying into this crap. It's bogus. It's a mirage. If you pandered, I wouldn't have stuck around for as many years. I can't stand the pandering. Right. And I think that you can get a lot of fast growth by doing that. You can. You can get really, really quick growth by pandering to that drum. There's a really, really big audience of disenfranchised, angry dudes who think like every game is woke and every company hates them. And it's like, maybe some, but not nearly the way that people were packaging it. Why did you not do it? Because I don't have the ability to be fake. I did it for too long. I was a duplicitous person for like a super long time. I lived like two separate lives, right? From like high school into my late 30s. Super duplicitous. And it's exhausting. It is so much more liberating to just be like, I'm not going to put on airs. Frick you. I don't agree. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, obviously, I try not to be as brash as I once was. I am constantly working on that, right? I'm a work in progress. He's unlikable and he's a narcissist. Yeah, well, you probably are too. And we're all trying to figure it out. Like, I'm trying to be better in those areas. But it's exhausting. It's exhausting putting on airs and being fake. It's so much more liberating to be like, no, this is what I think. I know you're not going to like it. I know people aren't going to think that I'm right or that this is a popular take, whether it's $80 games or being like, I'd rather Randy Pitchford just be honest than give me some stupid glib response. Like when I watched LD's video, that's where I disagreed with him and Asmongold. LD put together like a very canned PR statement, and I'm like, I don't want them to say that to me because it's glib, and I feel like I'm being talked to like I'm a child. And to be fair to Randy, his first answer to the question about price was far better, but it was in a Q&A segment on a panel and nobody saw it. Everybody saw the tweet because tweets go viral. So we don't give the guy a fair shake. I'm like, wait, he actually said something a lot more thoughtful a week before that, but everybody sees the tweet, reads it in the worst light possible, and acts like he was being a jerk. And it's just like, and then you would have preferred him give some PR-approved canned response that doesn't say anything. I didn't agree with Zach and LD on that. I was like, I don't agree. I would rather him just be honest. Like, I feel like there's an inherent contradiction into how they talked about it. It's like we're constantly dealing with these studios who are glib and disconnected and just say very, very empty, hollow things. And this guy just got brutal and honest and raw. And then we lit him on fire for it. And it was like, well, what do you want? Do you want the company to just be this shell that just spouts HR approved, PR approved nothing while prices go up? Or would you like somebody just to be raw and honest? Like, what do you like? I would prefer the raw and the honest. It's like, yeah, this sucks. Prices going up stinks. Nobody likes it. We'll figure it out. We real fans will figure it out, Most people agree it was silly. Oh, no. What he said was absolutely reckless as a CEO. It was. I'm never going to say that what he said was okay. I'm just saying, basically going after him and saying, we would have preferred you just said like the cliche, PR approved thing. Well, what the frick's the point of that? Like, I'll say it. Are we that fragile? All this posturing about masculinity and alpha male this and being tough, and we're that fragile that a guy says real fans, and we're like, yeah, F you, I'm not buying your game now. Wow. Okay. Talk about being a Karen. Like, you just sound like a Karen. You sound like a fragile Karen. Like, well, that's all it took. A tweet from a CEO. F that game. I was looking forward to it. I like looter shooters. I like Borderlands. But you know what? The CEO said something that I don't like, and that's it. I'm out. Huh? That doesn't seem like very masculine and tough to me. That seems fragile. Now, if you want to talk about it from like a PR perspective, and you want to say the general public is going to respond negatively to this, yes, you are correct. But you want to throw your hands in the air and be like, well, this is the unforgivable sin, and he said too much, and I'm not buying the game now. The frick? I don't give a frick what some CEO says about the price of a game. Why do I care about that? He's just yapping on Twitter like the rest of us. There's nothing, it doesn't mean anything. He didn't say anything about like, I have personal beliefs that this people group is inferior or something, like where we're like, oh my gosh, I don't want to support that guy. He didn't cross some line. You know what I mean? And I know when I say this, it'll get clipped. It's not a popular take, but it's what I believe. I'm not grifting. I'm not being glib or like saying what gamers want to hear. No, I'm like, why on earth do you care that much? It's just a tweet from a CEO. Who gives a frick? If you were really excited about, Andor, and like the CEO of Disney came out and said something dumb, like real Star Wars fans would watch all of the stuff, not just Andor. You wouldn't be like, well, I'm not going to watch Andor now. Like, what the frick? Gritter, I missed this. I'm really sorry. This was 20 minutes ago. I don't know how I missed this. Gritter with 18 months on Twitch. Thank you so much for using your Prime on me. Like, it just seems really, really like fragile ego to be like, I can't believe Randy said that, I'm not buying the game now. Like, there's nothing about that feels like emotionally mature or masculine. That feels boyish and reactionary. You know what I mean? It's like that's all it took. It wasn't even that big of a deal. And a 5 bomb comes in from Nightfire and gets us to, hang on. That's 23. It's now tied between the platforms. 71. We are 4 away from the next milestone. 4. Tweeter gamers and begin tough does not belong in the same sentence. What happened with Helldivers 2 review bomb? So apparently there were a big group of Chinese Helldivers players that were trying to liberate a city on the map in Asia. And it got stuck at 99%. And they discovered you couldn't liberate the cities. You could only basically like keep the Illuminate at bay. The goal of the major order was to stop the Illuminate and get them to 0. You can't actually liberate the cities. And so they got really angry. They wasted like an entire day getting it to 99% and it stopped. And so they went and review bombed. I see both sides of it. Like, Arrowhead shouldn't have a meter filling up to 99% if it actually can't hit 100. That seems kind of dumb. I think the feedback should be, if you're going to do that, let them liberate the city, and for 12 hours it's liberated, and then the Illuminate could like reorganize or something. The percentage bar filling doesn't make sense. It's like, okay, if it doesn't actually fill, then what purpose does it serve? If it's an ongoing tug of war game where at best you get to 99 and it's just going to slowly drain over time, I get why people were angry. I think review bombing is an extreme reaction, but they spent an entire day doing something that wasn't even possible. I get their frustration. It's like the analogy I gave is like when you're playing a game like Sekiro or Tsushima and you're fighting a guy and it's not a real fight. It's either a guaranteed fail or they run away. It's like, don't fake me out, bro. Just do a dadgum cutscene. Like, I don't like fake fights in video games. I don't. In Rise of the Ronin, they did it all the time. The guy you were fighting would run away. It would run away. And it's like, oh, okay. So it wasn't a real fight. So I get why people were angry. I think review bombing was kind of a dumb reaction, but like, what else are they going to do? And we kind of talked about like, can Steam do something in order to, change the way that people leave reactions to like a bad patch or something that's not the whole game. So, yeah. People are submitting questions. That's something that you guys can do as members or subs. And remember, whoever hits it gets it. We're really close to the next milestone of 875. And whoever hits it, I owe you 5 members. And I'm all paid up right now. Perfect Image says, even if Windows 11 going on 12 optimized for the Xbox handheld, how would it sail? Yeah, we were talking about that quite extensively. I just don't see a hardware future for Xbox. I don't think they're going to be motivated to do it. I just think they're doing the satiated response right now. They're like, yeah, we're putting the Xbox handheld on hold, but don't worry. We're going to do it. We're going to do it. Like, okay, sure. Like, I don't think they're going to. I don't think they're going to. I think they're going to completely back out of the plan entirely. I think this is just like when they said just 4 games, and they knew in their mind, no, everything's going to go. We're switching to publisher strategy. I think they know right now that they're going to completely back out of hardware, and they'll just do OEM. They'll just have other people make hardware that they like slap their operating system and name on. I don't think they're going to make their own stuff anymore. I don't know why they would. Hypercharge is really, really fun. I played it a lot with my kiddos on Xbox. So yes, I would definitely support those devs. Really, really cool little game. Very, very fun. And the devs are very, very cool, man. They're super responsive on Twitter and stuff. Yeah. Another question came in from Minchtree. Do you think with Xbox raising prices to 80 and PlayStation getting 30% of that, there are chances that PlayStation remains at 70? I honestly don't know what Sony's going to do with the price of their games. They seem to be motivated heavily to not touch prices right now. It's benefiting them significantly. Like it is. It's benefiting them significantly. Like they didn't raise their prices and now they're doing a sale for like 2 weeks. They look really, really strong in the market right now. And that could also play out well for them if Yote is 70 and Death Stranding 2 are 70. I think if Call of Duty is 80, I don't know. I feel like that plays well in their favor. Like Expedition 33 being 50 played in the game's favor. It did. I think a game not jumping to 80, it could work in its favor. I think people are like, oh, hey, yeah, wow, Yote's only 80. Death Stranding 2, I'm sorry, Yote's only 70 instead of 80. You know, Death Stranding 2 is only 70 instead of 80. It could work in their favor, for sure. You paid 80 for the Death Stranding 2 Deluxe. Well, I guess Death Stranding 2 is a bad example, right? Because is it the pre-orders already live? I don't think you can pre-order Yote, can you? AA game shouldn't be 70 or 80. Well, I've said to people, like, the freak out over $80, like, I get it, but at the same time, I think people need to zoom all the way out and see the forest for the trees. I think $80 will benefit the consumer because it will create space in the market for $50 and $60 games. Oh, that's right. I pre-ordered the Yote Collector's Edition. Right, yeah. So it would have to be games next year. Yeah, I mean, I don't think PlayStation would raise the price of the game after it's been announced and pre-ordered. Yeah, so sorry. I'm forgetting that, yeah, those games are already pre-orderable. Yeah, I got the Collector's Edition for Yote. Because I'm a huge Tsushima fan. So, like, it would have to be next year. It would have to be Phantom Blade Zero or Saros. Those are the only two confirmed for next year. Intergalactic, people are saying 2027. I think that's insane, but okay. And then Wolverine, we just don't know. It would have to be one of those titles. So yeah, that's a ways away. That's hard to make predictions about. The market could shift quite a bit between now and then. It could. It could shift a lot. Is there anybody available right now or in the next 30 minutes or so, in the next hour or so, to play Nightreign? I am not about to try to play that game by myself from everything that you guys said. Apparently, like, skilled players are playing by themselves and it's just not going well. And they've added, like, minor things to help out solo players. Yeah, I don't know what Jim Ryan would have done. He might have been like, yeah, let's raise prices since Xbox just did. But he's not the only person in charge. Because internally, PlayStation is very pleased with the fact that they are maintaining pace with PS4 without dropping the price. So I don't know. Like, that's difficult to do. Usually mid-gen, you're able to drop the price and it helps. They've not been able to do that with the PS5, and they're still keeping pace. I think they would have left it alone. Now, games, I don't know about games. Jim Ryan might have been like, yeah, let's do it. But with the console, I think there were other factors at play that would have kept them from doing it. I can play with you in an hour for my lunch break. I didn't even think that we were going to have to rally and get people. I thought I was going to be able to play solo and have a reasonable time. And then they said this morning, I saw an interview where they literally said, it's not really built for solo play either. It's basically built for 3 people. It's got to be one of the strangest setups I've ever seen. It's like, that's such a weird late stage disclaimer also to throw out. Does it have crossplay? No. It doesn't have crossplay, and it's the late stage statement was, yeah, it's not really intended for solo play. It's intended for 3 people. Yeah, Madam played Elden Ring. We had her try to beat a boss the one night. I think she ended up finally beating him. Why do we need space for $50 or $60 games? Raising the price of other games to $80 doesn't make the cheaper games more appealing. $80 is overpriced games, plain and simple. I don't agree with you. I think overpriced is subjective to whether or not the market bears it. I don't think that overpriced can just be claimed, right? If the market bears it, the market bears it. You don't have to like the price, but if it works, it works, right? If people buy enough of Mario Kart and enough of Call of Duties, you're going to see a lot of AAA games hitting $80. But it makes space for $50 and $60 games to be more of a competitive move by like a smaller studio. Instead of smaller studios just kind of falling in line and doing like 60 or 70, they can drop down in the 40, 50 range and be more, and it's a more compelling offer. It creates a spectrum of price that we haven't really ever had. We've always been like, well, yeah, your big games are like 60, 70, and then like indie titles are 20 or 30. That middle ground of 50 to 60 is, I think, has been largely untapped, and I think it opens up when the highest price goes higher. $80 games makes cheaper quality games more attractive. Yeah, I think that's one of the contributing factors to Expedition 33 is the price point. People were like, $50? And it's a long game. It's not a short game. They spoke to that before the game even came out. It made headlines. The price point of that game made headlines, and some of that was because it didn't look like a cheap little indie game. It looked like a really, really well-built, I always said, it's like, it looked like a AA game to me. I'm not saying, yay, $80 games are good, we should be thankful. I'm saying there's two sides to the coin. If big studios and publishers try out 80 and it opens up space for $50 and $60 games, then that allows the market to react. And then you can see the market be more responsive to $50 and $60 games. You now, as a consumer, have more competition and choice. That serves you. That serves you. And it could, in turn, make studios more skittish. They'd be like, we're not doing 80. Everybody's running into the arms of the $50 and $60 games. Let's just do 70. If we do 80, we're going to get the stigma. We're going to have people being like, what are you doing? I can go buy a game for $50 that's basically the same size as your game. So I think it's going to be, I don't think it's going to be this big, huge sky is falling thing where suddenly you can't afford to game anymore. It will, I think, open up more options for indie titles or maybe AA studios, smaller studios. I think it's been harder for them to get your attention over the years because we're at a point now where they can build games at like a really high quality and they look really good. And it's like, man, who built this? Oh, a small team did. Oh my gosh, that's insane. I think people are getting better. The tools are getting better. And they can now come into the market and have more than just a flashy concept or like a novel idea. They can say, oh, our game is also $50. It's almost half the cost of an $80 game. Like, that's compelling. Yeah, if Expedition 33 would have been a $70 game, it would have sold less copies. It would have. People are like, I don't know. I'm not going to take a gamble on that. The price probably guaranteed them Game of the Year. I don't know how much price would play a factor in how the review outlets review, but I hope for Madden's complete meltdown and failure, and these Muppets still buy the game every year. That's a captive audience, man. They like the game. They're not going to just stop playing because you have strong opinions about monetization, unfortunately. You know? The price point of Expedition 33 gave more people a reason to give it a shot. For sure. I just don't think review outlets necessarily were like, yeah, the $50 is why this is a Game of the Year contender. I think it's like in the room, but I think the primary factor is the game. Probably going to get roasted this, but if the $10 is the difference between being able to afford the game or not, you probably should not be spending $70 on it either. It's a perception thing. I did think that was one of the better parts of Asmongold's video. He said that if you compare it to back then, the challenge is now you feel like you're getting hit at every angle. And that makes it seem like the $10 more is like the straw breaking the camel's back. Right? Like, I don't necessarily agree that like, oh no, but back then there weren't as much things to spend money on. Yeah, sure there was. You had to pay for gas, you had to pay for room and board, and those things were priced for that time. It's about how it feels. Now it feels like every time you turn around, you've got something going up, you've got more expenses. Disney Plus is more expensive, Netflix is more expensive, Game Pass is more expensive, gas is more expensive, eggs are more expensive. And your one, bastion of escape is like, yeah, $10 more. And you're like, frick's sake. Like, it's just like, that's what it is. It's a perception thing. It's not like it breaks the bank. It's not like, you know what, I was really going to be able to game this year, but a couple of games are going to be 80. I'm out. I can't afford to game anymore. I don't think that's what it is. It's a perception thing. I notice you give weight to review outlets regarding Game of the Year. Do you think a game with critical acclaim but poor user reception could win Game of the Year? Yeah, maybe, but maybe not. I'd need to know an example of a game that got great critical reception but poor user. Like, how does that happen? You know what I mean? How would a game sneak through that way? Like, well, yeah, dude's got like a 91 from the review outlets, and then the users don't like it? That would be weird. Usually the Game of the Year, the games that get Game of the Year scores, like OpenCritic, Metacritic, like when that many outlets agree, the users are usually in lockstep with them. Veilguard? What do you mean? What are you talking about? Veilguard got an 82. That's not a crazy good score. Like, Veilguard's Metacritic is an 82. It got a 60. Okay, so it got a 69 on Steam. Let me check the PlayStation Store. That seems so low. I did not realize people disliked that game that much. I thought it was fine. I just got sick of the combat. Oh, yeah. It's got a 3.2 on PlayStation. Okay, that's a good example. It's got like 60-something, 69 on Steam, and a 64 on PlayStation, 82 on Metacritic. That's a pretty big divide, boys. That's pretty bad. I thought it would have had like a high 70s on Steam and PlayStation. I knew that people were ish on it, like I didn't think it was that bad. I actually kind of liked it, and then I got really tired of the combat. It just got so dadgum repetitive, and so like one boss fight took forever, and then you get like spammy stun lock situations. It was like, this is getting freaking old. But no, that one wouldn't have been up for Game of the Year with an 82. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, it would be really, really weird for a game to get like a 90 or a 91 from Metacritic and OpenCritic, and then land on Steam and Xbox and PlayStation and get like a 60. That would be very bizarre. Even with the divide on Veilguard, it's a 69 on Steam. You know what I mean? That's almost a 70, and an 82 on Metacritic. That divide's not that crazy. There's a bigger divide between Lies of P and the review outlets. Lies of P has a great score on Steam and PlayStation, like 90-something, and it did not get a strong reception from the review outlets. It didn't. It was I remember when we saw that divide, it was kind of shocking. It was like, wow. Why did the users loved this game and the critics were like, on it? Wukong would be one that has a much stronger score from the users versus the review outlets. Yep. Yeah. I've never seen it in the other direction. Because like that was his question. What could we see a game get nominated when the users don't like it at all? And I'm like, it'd be very, very weird for a game to land with such a high score from the review outlets and for the users to just reject it outright. You know what game I can think of that got a nomination that kind of falls into that category? Lobo? Can you guys think of it? I just thought of it. And you probably have heard me rant about it before. It got a Game of the Year nomination. Yep, Kevin George got it. Deathloop. Yeah, Deathloop is an example of a game that got it got severely overscored by the outlets as far as I could tell. Like, I don't know why it got media darling treatment. And then the users were like, not that big on it. I don't know why that got... Returnal so much more deserved a Game of the Year nomination that year over Deathloop. It was a better game by almost every metric. And the minute you left America, like the BAFTAs, Returnal crushed. Deathloop was like nowhere to be seen. That I will never understand that. Yeah, Deathloop got a Game of the Year nomination. Like, what the frick? How? That is one of the more... That's more peculiar than Wukong. That's more peculiar than Wukong. Deathloop has a 77 on Steam. A 77 and an 80. An 80 on PlayStation. Homies. You giving a Game of the Year nomination to something that's barely holding on to an 80% with the users? Like, what the frick are we doing here? You go and you look at other games that have gotten Game of the Year nominations, and I guarantee you they don't have a score that low from the users. I guarantee it. They're always going to have a high, almost every time. Returnal has an 81 on Steam, and it has an 88 on PlayStation. See what I'm saying? Returnal did great on the PlayStation, and 88 is really strong. That's within the hemisphere of Game of the Year averages. High 80s, low 90s. I'm a Deathloop defender, says Echo Doctrine. I really enjoyed that game, but you've got me on Returnal. That game out same year. Yeah, I don't know how you nominate Deathloop over Returnal. It doesn't make any sense at all. Yeah, I don't know. That was always a weird one to me. That was one of the most peculiar. Like, I understood Wukong getting a nomination. I get it. Wukong was absolutely beloved by the users. And there was, a huge commercial aspect as well. It sold an insane amount. But, yeah, Wukong has a 96 on Steam. And then on PlayStation, Wukong has a 90. Yeah, a 90. Which I'm always blown away when I see that on PlayStation. I'm like, can't y'all tell this is running really poorly? Come on, man. Come on, y'all. Returnal's a classic. Returnal was original. It was an original concept. It was ambitious. It was beautifully built. Incredible soundtrack. Stone Spire, are you going to do it? He's going to do it. Twitch, you have a second. You got a little bit of time. He's going to do singles all the way. He's going to do 4 singles. There's the first one. There's the next one. He's going to try and take the 875. He needs to do 2 more. You missed out on art, I'm telling you. No, I didn't. I went back and tried to play it. Runs like Chotch. There it is, 874. Next one takes it. Next member takes it. And I owe 5 to whatever platform does it. Stone Spire scrambling to go as fast as he can. Shoot. It happened. I'm not kidding you. It happened at the same time. I'll do it for both. So a single came in from Stone Spire, and then a 10 bomb comes in from Car Doc Ren. I mean it. It was exactly the same, like both windows, because I can see Twitch and my upper monitor at the same time. I'm not kidding you. It was exactly the same time. So I'll just do a 5 bomb on both platforms. That's fine. Too close to call. I literally went back and tried to play Black Myth Wukong. It ran so poorly. I beat the bear, and I got to that next area, and I was like, dude, I don't know what the frick this is, but the performance was horrendous. It was horrendous. We have serious beef? We don't have beef. You're in denial. There's a difference. We don't have beef. There's no beef. You're just in denial, bro. It runs so bad. Like, I got to that area after the bear, and I'm like, how does anybody play this? It's like the game is vibrating. It's like, like the frame rate is. It's like I'm shooting a 50 cal on an airplane in the middle of World War II. It's just like I turn the camera and it's like, oh my gosh, what is this? It's terrible. I don't know how people overlook it. Man. It's so freaking bad. I don't think it was that bad. Oh my gosh. I'm here to tell you, you cannot go from games like Returnal, Horizon, God of War, Ratchet, even Assassin's Creed Shadows, Death Stranding. They run so smooth. Like, it's like running your hand across the top of like a marble table. It's like, oh man. And then Wukong is like running your hand across wood that's going to give you a splinter. It's like, what is this? How do you guys put up with it? It is terrible in comparison. I can't go from games that are like smooth as glass on FPS to that. I can't do it. It was like when I was helping my son with Kena Bridge of Spirits, and then I tried to play Tears of the Kingdom. I would forget it. It makes it so much worse. Make Lono play Wukong stretch goal. No, we don't do stretch goals into salty environments because I like to drink and chill on Friday nights, and I get really grumpy if I'm having to play something salty. I just think Lono is super sensitive to frame drops, whereas some people don't notice them as much. What do you guys do? You play with blindfolds on? What do you do? I don't know how people don't see it. I don't know how people don't see it. The difference is stark. It's stark. I can't go. There are so many games like Doom the Dark Ages. For the most part, I've had very minor little frame issues here and there. It's so smooth. And then they go into Wukong. It's like, I don't know how you guys look past it. I don't. And also, we don't even have to talk about the frame rate. It's ugly. It is ugly. The image quality is like this fuzzy, somebody smeared Vaseline on the camera. It's like everything's got this fuzzy outline. Oh, golly. I don't know how you guys do. They're literally doubling the frame rate with frame gen. Like, gee, money, Christmas. I think it's established that people have different sensitivities to it. This is what it's like. Have you ever seen somebody that can just, like, pop a lemon wedge in their mouth, and they're like, it just doesn't bother me, man? That's you who can play Wukong on PS5. You just don't feel it. And I would put the lemon wedge in my mouth and I'd be like, whoa, whoa, and I'd spit it out. I would spit it out. That's you. You can just pop that lemon wedge in your mouth and it just doesn't affect you. And I'm like, brother, I spit it out of my mouth. It's so bad. I can't do it. It ruins the experience. I can't get past it. And I tried playing Revenge of the Savage Planet with my wife, and even she noticed that game is 30, which is so weird. They're putting the game on PS4. What the frick? How do you not have a performance mode for a game on the PS5 Pro, and you just shipped it on the PS4? What the frick what did they do with that game? It doesn't make any sense at all. It doesn't make an ounce of sense. You're so dramatic. Lobo. Is this your first day? Is this your first day realizing that? This dude says you're dramatic. Yes. I'm also short. I'm also white. I also have a beard. It's just who it's me. It's me, baby. Jiminy Christmas. Oh yeah, Date Everything was supposed to be a goal. Well, Date Everything was a Member Plus goal. You guys have got to upgrade to Member Plus, man. You two boys have completely slacked. We've dropped. We're at like 540 Member Plus. If you want me playing crazy games, weird games, hard games, no. I need Member Pluses. This right here unlocks Friday night, and then I'll play something fun with Madam, and then I'll show you some of my music. You've unlocked a full song. If it hits 900, you'll get 2 full songs. I am fine. I am fine with that. You want me playing these goofy, weird, creepy, cringy, salty games? We need people to upgrade to Member Plus. I'm not putting myself through pain. Yeah, the Date Everything game, that was a Member Plus incentive. It was, Trill. I think we said 700, I think. We're not even at 600 Member Plus anymore. Now, to be fair, a bunch of you moved to Twitch. Totally fine. That's totally fine. Listen, there's like 3,000 of you every month, between 2,000 and 3,000 that just ride on Gifted. If you need to stay on Gifted, that's totally fine. I know times are tough. You want to unlock these fun things? You want to make me live through pain? You want to make me play Black Myth Wukong? Well, upgrade. Jump into Member Plus. I'm not putting myself through pain just because MASH comes in here and goes crazy. Oh, he's going to play Black Myth Wukong after some drinks? Yeah, sure, I'll pay to see that. And they'll drop the bombs. No way. No. I am not putting my Friday night into the hands of MASH and Pathalon Phoenix. It's got to be worth it, because I get really annoyed in those types of games. The Dating Everything one is it'd probably be pretty funny, to be fair. But we did say that would be. And Quintar with the 20 bomb. See, this is what I'm talking about. I cannot do it. I cannot put my sanity into the hands of you guys, because you will take my sanity from me. You will. I refunded Nightreign on Steam. I wish I wouldn't have bought it. I don't even think we're going to have enough people to play. Are we going to have 2 people that even want to play? I think I'm going to say no. I probably bought it for no reason. We could make it a Friday night incentive where we all try to play together or something, or a community. We could make it a community afternoon, but without cross-play, how the frick are we going to do it? A lot of you guys are playing on PC and Xbox, and I'm playing on PlayStation. We need 2 people on PS5. I didn't even think to put the word out. I was just doing my autopilot thing of it's a new game, buy the new game, play the new game, and it apparently is terrible by yourself. And yeah, I've heard the matchmaking's terrible. This might be a time where I try to get a refund. I might. We'll just bail on it. We'll just chill in green room. Maybe I'll play some Doom for you guys. Maybe I play some Doom or something. But yeah, I don't think Nightreign is worth our time, because I can't play by myself, because we've heard really skilled players play by themselves and it was terrible. I thought terrible by yourself was the tagline, right? So I need 2 people. Well, there's no cross-play, so what the frick am I going to do? That feels like a deal breaker to me, boys. And I'm bummed, because I wanted to show it off and give people, and usually gameplay streams do very well for us. That's a lot of viewership that we're not going to get, but I'm not going to make content just for the sake of making content. It needs to be good. It needs to be valuable. Not me being irritated for 45 minutes that I can't play, can't match make, no cross-play, don't have enough people to play. That's terrible content. That's not worth making. Why not rematch? Yeah, we could go to Green Room. I could show you guys some rematch. I got to take a quick break, though. Let me hit some ads on YouTube. I'll be right back. Okay. Bro needs some animated be right back screens. I don't really think I've ever done that. I mean, we've always thought about having a scene to promote all the ways you can support, the coffee, the soda, Into the AM, which I think Into the AM is still doing a sale, boys, and I am wearing one of their shirts. Yeah. Let's do another one for him here. All right, so you guys know I like to wear cool shirts. Hopefully this camera's not frozen. It's not. Okay, so this is like an exploding astronaut or something. Right now, Into the AM is doing a huge Memorial Day sale still 25 to 70% off. Now, the thing is, you can use my code on top of this, okay? Anytime they're doing a sale, you can do that. Now, the up to 70% off site-wide sale, there's only 23 hours left. So use code LONO or go to intotheam.com/Lono and stack mine on top. They got pants, jeans, graphic tees. They got plain colored tees. Their stuff's great. They got so much that you can buy. You know, you're wanting to stay cool by the pool this summer. These ones are, I think, not necessarily my style. I'm more of the graphics tee guy. But if you're more this style here, then you can definitely use code LONO. So you can use the shirt command in chat. Those are the greatest. Those are the greatest ways to use my code over there. Is do it when they're having a big sale. Yeah, I answered Minstree's question about the prices at PlayStation. Yeah. Time to get some new shirts. Do it. When we do activations with them and you guys use the code, that helps me. I don't get a kickback percentage. It's like flat. It's a flat fee for me to just promote it, and they send me shirts. So it's not like, hey, order a bunch of shirts, I'm going to get a kickback on every single shirt. No, but it shows them, hey, it's worth activating with Reforge. His audience responds. Would it be good to show people how bad Elden Ring Nightreign is to save people money? Here's the problem, Dave. I'm not known for my skill, so all that video is going to turn into is Reforge is a tourist and sucks at games, and he can't even beat Elden Ring Nightreign by himself. Which, maybe that's a fringe group of idiotic morons that we don't need to concern ourselves with. But, I don't necessarily know if that's good content to, boot up and say, yeah, this apparently is really hard for single player. Watch me die. Do you know what I mean? Got a 6-pack of them coming my way. Oh, some of the shirts? For a stretch goal, why don't we do something else? Like maybe show us your bourbon collection or something and you talk about it, like how you did the reverse sear. I have no problem showing you my bourbon. I mean, it's out there on the mantle. I could bring it in. I did end up finding the double-double for Madam for our anniversary. Yeah, I'd rather finish Doom. That's far more productive for me to finish Doom. I'm so close to the end of Doom. We could end up in Expedition 33 today. We have a lot of time. We do. We have a lot of time. You know? Because if we go to Green Room in the next little bit here, that's a lot of hours that I'm not playing with Hilly. Dinner's not until 5 hours from now. You know? Well, I want to finish Doom before playing Expedition 33, Dave. You had a blast with Nightreign last night? What chapter are you in? I think I have 4 left. I think I need to do 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. No, 5 left, sorry. Yeah, I think 18 out of 22, I think, is the total. Why are people trying to make you suffer? I was just joking earlier. Death Stranding game premiere event has been announced. Okay. June 8th at the Orpheum Theater. Okay. So the Sunday at 10 o'clock at night? Live streaming on YouTube? Why the frick are you doing that, Kojima? Oh my gosh. I'm going to be up until midnight on Sunday the 8th? Dadgummit. That's so late, bro. I'm such an old man. Bro. I'm old man status, bro. You can't do that, Kojima. Making this senior citizen out here stay up past my bedtime. Windows Central out here telling Yoshida off. There's no reason to tell Yoshida off. Everybody is going to miss. Oh, I can see it now. I'm certain there won't be videos, tweets, and articles completely misrepresenting what Shuhei Yoshida said because your audience capture and you have to make the dwindling bleed green sycophants happy. He didn't say that Game Pass was dangerous. He said it could lead to a future that is dangerous where all the games are being made for a subservice because there's only certain types of games that do well on subservice, and you basically would then have corporations dictating the types of games that are made. I'm certain that no one's going to misrepresent what he said and make a bunch of misleading content about it because you got to bang on the green drum to pay the bills. Jiminy Christmas. It was like, I went and read what he said, and I'm like, he's not singling out Game Pass as dangerous. He's saying this is something that could be dangerous in the future if this is where things go. Admits his bias, thinks PS Plus is healthier because they don't put games there day and date. And everybody's got to be like, hey, sir, don't you besmirch our precious Game Pass. Yeah, there it is, a thumbnail that says pathetic. No, what's pathetic is the constant misrepresentation of what is said. What Shu said was so bland. It was so bland. He says, if the only way for people to play games is through subscriptions, that's really dangerous because what type of games can be created will be dictated by the owner of the subscription services. So he's saying that's not a healthy future. That's a dangerous future for game development. And people are like, he's calling Game Pass dangerous? It's like, no, he didn't say Game Pass was dangerous. He didn't say that Game Pass was even doing that. He was saying, listen, if subscription models become the model, that's not a good place for game development. He goes on to say, it's really, really risky because there must always be fresh new ideas tried by small developers that create the next wave of development. But if the big companies dictate what games can be created, I don't think that will advance the industry. See, it's funny how he's very much like anti-corporation interference, very much taking up for the little guy, and everybody's misrepresenting what he said as, oh, Game Pass is dangerous. No, you bleed green butt-hurt buffoons. That's not what he said at all. That's not what he said. He did admit his bias. He did admit that he thinks PS Plus is healthier because they don't put big games day and date, which he has agreement in the industry on that. Jim Ryan said it. Strauss Zelnick said it. Plenty of people have said that that's value destructive to spend enormous amounts of money on a big release and put it on a subscription service day and date. It's so dumb. Like, for somebody, for this to be happening to, of all people, Shuhei Yoshida, it's like, you people are idiots. You're idiots. Like, super nice, lovable, non-corporate guy, and he basically just says, if that's where things go, if you get to the point where, like, games are only available on subscriptions, that won't be good for development. Let me ask you something. Is that true of Game Pass right now? No? Then shut the frick up, because he didn't say anything about Game Pass. He didn't say that Game Pass is dangerous. But here we go. Let's run the circuit. Let's run the circuit. Is anybody going to call them liars? Anybody? I got called a liar for quoting Colin Moriarty. And Colin comes out later and qualifies, I was only speaking about that particular market. All these people making this content are liars. He did not say that Game Pass is dangerous. He didn't. You're lying when you make that your headline, when you make that your thumbnail, when you make that your title. You're just a liar. He didn't say it. He didn't even mention Game Pass when he was talking about the danger part. He was talking about, if we end up in a setup where games are only available on subscriptions, that's dangerous. You're not going to have a bunch of freedom for devs to experiment and do new things. You're going to have big corporations dictating what's made. What he's doing is he's drawing analogy to the submodels within the entertainment world. Within the entertainment world, those submodels and what's created is going to be largely dictated by the people who run those subscription services, because that's their job, is to fill that funnel with content. So we are once again in an ocean of idiotic, dishonest buffoonery, because Shuhei Yoshida had the gall to say that if we get up in a time where, games are only available on subscription, that's really dangerous. And everyone's like, oh, he said Game Pass is dangerous? No, he didn't say that. He said he feels PlayStation Plus is healthier because you don't put games on there day and date. That's also not an insane take. It isn't. Doom didn't even sell 1 million copies yet. So, what are we even talking about here? It's insanity. It's insanity. Game coverage has become so dadgum terrible. You got a guy, after he retires, basically going on a full-on interview circuit, giving us great insight into the industry, great insight into things that happen, and this is what you're going to do. You're going to throw him on your thumbnails and make him look stupid, make him look foolish, completely misrepresent what he said, because you gotta make rent. Got to make rent. Got to get the click rate on your articles. Got to get the click rate on your Twitter blue, impressions. What a freaking joke. What a joke. That's exactly how you get a guy like that to just stop talking to the press. Because it's you're just going to twist what I'm saying. You're going to make me look like I'm saying things that I'm not saying. So why would I talk to the press if this is what gamers are going to do to me? Gamers. Defending your precious Game Pass. You know what I can't wait for? I can't wait for Game Pass to get so expensive, people see what's going on. They're like, well, they just keep raising the price, and the only way to get day and date is on Ultimate. He didn't say it, but it's safe to say he implied it. No, he didn't imply it at all. When he said dangerous, he spoke to a reality that doesn't presently exist. He said, if games are only available on subscriptions, that's a dangerous place to be. And then he gave an example as to why. That's not how Game Pass is operating right now. So he isn't implying or inferring anything about Game Pass when he says that. This is the most, brain dead, low-level literacy take I've ever seen. When I read what he said, I was like, he's not talking about Game Pass. He talks about Game Pass through inference later when he says he feels PS Plus is healthier because they don't put the big titles day and date. But he's not saying it's dangerous to do that. He's just saying it's healthier to not do that. Dangerous was about all subservices going down their natural evolution. Right. It was a larger discussion about how you could end up at a place where if subscription models become the de facto, well, then that's the only place you can play the games, and that removes purchasing power from the consumer, and it would restrict what games get made. What he said is not outlandish at all. It isn't. It isn't. Thank you, Splataw, for 10 months of subscriptions on Twitch. Hang on. I didn't add... I'm sorry. I didn't add the 20 here. The 20 bomb from Quintar to the competition between the platforms. Yeah. We're exactly 20 away from 925. Thank you. Gaming will never be exclusive to subscriptions, says MASH. Just subscriptions may be more popular, even if we were to take the movie model as an example. You still get movies outside of those services. Right, but there are plenty of things right now that you can only consume through a subscription service, like Mandalorian or something like that, or HBO's The Last of Us. There, Severance on Apple TV. I don't think you can watch these things elsewhere. I don't think you can go buy them. Darkman next. Well, I don't know why you're listing games. What are these games that you're listing? Yeah, this headline is a lie. This is a lie. This is a lie. This is absolutely a lie. Former head of PlayStation says Microsoft's Xbox Game Pass is dangerous because big companies dictate what games can be created. No, this is a flat-out lie. That is not true. He did not say that. That is not an egregious misread or misinterpretation of what he said. It's a flat-out lie. The man did not say that. That is false. That's false. What's the outlet? This is Windows Central. Like, the quote's right here. He's not talking about Game Pass. He isn't. If the only way for people to play games is through subscriptions, that's really dangerous because what type of games can be created will be dictated by the owner of the subscription services. Continuing, he said, that's really, really risky because there must always be fresh new ideas tried by small developers that create the next wave of development. But if the big companies dictate what games can be created, I don't think that will advance the industry. The headline is a flat-out lie. He did not say that Game Pass is dangerous because big companies dictate what games can be created. That's false. That's false. We should be back, YouTube. He left out the word if. Who left out the word if? Dave. The guy who read the headline? Microsoft got me? Yeah. I can't spell all of a sudden. It's incendiary clickbait. You're misquoting him. You're saying that he said something that he didn't say. He did not say that Game Pass is dangerous. He didn't. And again, he backed up his reasoning by saying that if the only way, like he's saying, like if this is what ends up happening, here, let's just do this, edit copy. Pretty disappointing to see Windows Central run with a headline that is so egregiously inaccurate. Shuhei Yoshida did not say that Game Pass is dangerous. Read the actual quote. That is egregious. That is absolutely egregious for them to run something that, you know, your headline should be something to the effect of like, Shuhei Yoshida implies Game Pass could head down a dangerous path or something. Like, if it goes down that line, then yes, he believes that's dangerous. Currently, Game Pass is not set up in that way. They don't make it to where you can't play a game on Game Pass. He's talking about a potential future, and he's like, that would be dangerous. he's not saying Game Pass is dangerous. If Game Pass goes down that road, he would say, hey, that's dangerous. Don't do that. I think people fell for it. Did they forget that who is Sony's biggest competition? It's Nintendo. His mind wasn't thinking Game Pass. Yeah, exactly. Like, Nintendo does that. Nintendo puts games behind a subservice. And that's like the only way you can get them. And I don't think Nintendo would ever go that route, because the commercial sales of their first-party games are, like, insanely popular. Insanely popular. I don't know if they would ever lock their games like that. Yo, it's good, Trey Gaming. How are you? Dave says, sorry, the guy who wrote the headline, but if you read what Shu said, he said, if big companies. He left out the word if in that quote. Did Windows Central, I'm assuming they tweeted the article, right? If they tweeted the article, no, yeah, I'm gonna request a community note and refer to my own tweet. No, that needs to be community noted. That tweet's a lie as well. That tweet's false. He didn't say what they're claiming he said. Come on, Windows Central. You guys are better than IGN when they misquoted Sony in their one earnings call. Like, you guys can't be out here doing this. Like, I don't understand what's so hard about not lying. Like, I don't get it. What's so difficult? You know, all you got to say is he implied that Game Pass could go down a dangerous road, because it's a subscription service and it could go down this road. He didn't name Game Pass, but he was saying if this happens with subscriptions, that's bad for gaming. That's dangerous. And I would think people that like Game Pass would probably agree with him, because Phil Spencer has spoken to this before. He has spoken to the fact that they don't have plans to make it to where you can't buy games and you can only get them from Game Pass. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, he literally spoke to this directly. So the idea that, like, you would think that Shu was talking about Game Pass is like, Game Pass isn't currently doing that, and Phil has spoken directly to this question in the past. So, I don't know. I think people are just too quick to defend Game Pass, because it's basically, I'll tell you what it is. I'll tell you what it is, boys. It's because that's all Xbox has left. It's the one thing they're all running to now. It's like, as Forza and Gears and Halo all eventually land on PlayStation, it's their only place to run. Remember all the people that threw me in their thumbnails and made fun of me about Gears coming to PlayStation? Yeah. Put reality in your pipe and smoke it. It's coming, and you look like an idiot. So now what do? Well, now you've got to run defense for Game Pass, because it's the only thing that the brand has left. It's the only thing the brand has left. When people are really upset and angry seeing their big titles and their big names going to PlayStation, what do? Oh, yeah, well, we don't have to buy it, though. We get it on Game Pass. You suckers have to pay for it. It's the only thing they have left. So the minute they heard Shuhei Yoshida say anything about subscriptions in a negative way, they all got to run defense force for Game Pass, because it's the only thing left. There's nothing left to what is it? What do you have? You've got canceled hardware plans, dwindling hardware sales, and you're putting your games everywhere. What's left to defend? Game Pass. It's all you got. Are you talking about what they said 3 to 5 years ago after the Activision acquisition? I'm not sure, Mash. What are you inquiring about? Yeah, give me a second. Literacy is dead. It is. Literacy is totally dead. Like, I can't believe that this is what we're dealing with now. Is like, what he said was so boring. It was like, oh, wow. Let's turn it into he attacked Game Pass, I guess. It's not going down the service path anyway. It's just another option for how to play. What's the problem? Right. Shu was just speaking to a potential future where games are only available on subscription services. Nintendo's doing that right now. There are games that you can only get through Nintendo's online subscription services. And Shu was saying that if that's where things go, if you end up with, a place where the only way to play a game is through the subscription service, he says that's dangerous. And it's like, they're now saying Shuhei Yoshida says that Game Pass is dangerous. And it's like, no, he didn't. He didn't say that at all. You can't even infer it from what he said, because currently that's not true about Game Pass. So how could he be talking about Game Pass? How? If that's not even currently how Game Pass is set up. If gaming becomes cable TV, I will cry. I don't think that would ever happen. Like, I get Shu's concern, but I don't think that Nintendo would do that, and I don't think that PlayStation would do that. They sell so many copies of their games. If they suddenly said, yeah, the next Zelda, you can't buy it, you got to subscribe to Nintendo Online, they would absolutely murder the sales and profitability of the game. We constantly hear about how the all-digital future where you don't own anything is dangerous. That's the end goal with these companies. Yoshida is talking about a facet of that future, and all of a sudden people are upset about a warning about it. Well, again, it's because that all the Xbox guys have left, that's all they have left, is Game Pass. There's nothing left. It really truly feels like that. It's like it's their last thing, it's their precious. And Shu said something that they just immediately heard, subscriptions are dangerous? Oh, he's talking about Game Pass. And it's like, no, he's not. And would you be okay? My question to the guy that wrote the Windows Central article, or any of these other people making YouTube videos about it, would you be okay with that? Would you be okay with what he described as dangerous? Would you be okay with Xbox saying you can't purchase the next mainline Halo, you can only get it on Game Pass? Would you be okay with them doing that? Because that's what he described as dangerous. If you're okay with that, then argue why you'd be okay with that. If you're not okay with that, then I would imagine you probably agree with Yoshida, and you'd be like, yeah, we don't want that. I don't think he's even saying I don't think what he's saying is even possible. Where is he getting that it might go down that road? Nintendo already does it, MASH. Nintendo already does it. I don't think Nintendo would do it with their mainline things. But if you start restricting what people can or can't buy, or what they can or can't own, yes, that starts to develop into what he's talking about. And we know that these companies have a vested interest into making it to where we don't own anything. That makes them salivate. They love that. the idea that you don't own anything. You can't. It's like it's harder and harder to own digital media in a traditional sense. It's the natural and logical conclusion of subservices, says Eugene. Just look at what Netflix has canceled. Right. The bigger picture on subservices is, yes, there's a lot of collateral damage when you start to basically have to shore up your content behind a subwall. Then what happens? Well, the second season of a show the third season of a show gets canceled because season 2 doesn't push the numbers as strong as the first season. I don't know about the PlayStation event, Donald. PlayStation's so hard to predict what they're going to do. I was thinking by the end of yesterday or today we would have an announcement. If they were doing a state of play before Summer Game Fest, I feel like we'd already know about it. If they don't announce anything by the end of Monday, then I think Detective Seed's original leak is probably the one. He said that they were going to be doing a state of play the week before Death Stranding and that it was like 40 plus minutes long. That seems weird to me to just completely skip Summer Game Fest. I feel like if they say nothing by the end of Monday, then they're not going to be a part of the upcoming week of stuff, which is weird. They have historically kicked off the Summer Game Fest week. That they have historically at the end of May or early June kicked it off with a state of play or a showcase. Most of the time they do a state of play. They did a showcase two years ago. Look at the path that Disney and Warner are on, says Eugene. Like, I don't even care about the prediction of like, oh, it could go that way. It could go that way, right? I don't even care about that prediction. No, I care about the man being misquoted. That's what I'm irritated with. It's such a false report. So now what we're going to do is we're going to spend the next week dealing with people making videos and making claims that aren't true about what the man said. Oh yeah, he said Game Pass is dangerous. No, he didn't. No, he didn't. What are you talking about? Blowing the dog whistle? Yeah, it is. It's a dog whistle. It is. And everybody lapped it up. Hey everybody, come defend Game Pass. And everybody did. There's probably going to be YouTube videos, there's already articles, there's tweets, there's discussions, and it's all rooted in a lie. It's the insanity of this is that you're going to have a bunch of people running around discussing things that aren't even true. I want you to think about the insanity of that. YouTube videos, podcast discussions, and entire articles written about something that is completely fake. It's not even, it's made up. It's a mirage. It's idiotic. It's idiotic. Can we get 13 more likes on the video? Let's try to get 300 likes. Yeah, we really are living in a post-truth world. You can just lie. You just lie. And then everybody believes the lie, runs with the lie, tweets the lie. And then the thing that's crazy to me is people will come at me and act like I lied because, like, what retroactively Colin Moriarty clarified his comments about the marketing for Marathon. But Windows Central can have a headline that just literally makes a false claim. It's provably false right now. When we ran our video with Colin's quote, we ran the whole quote. We let everybody see exactly what he said. We didn't slice out a tiny slice of it. And we spoke to that reality. That if the marketing has been canceled, that there's one of three things going on. I said it's either just because they have to remove all the artwork and the game's still coming out. I said, or it's because they're getting ready to delay the game, or they're getting ready to cancel the game. So I walked through three possibilities. I made no definitive statements or declarations, all based on an accurate quoting of somebody. Excuse me. They're not lying. They're just speaking their truth. Yeah, it has. It's become an abyss. I know what you're quoting to, Eugene. Can we make one of the Friday goals that we actually talk about Andor? We could definitely start to do Friday nights with Madam where like a month later we talk about something like that. Like a month later we'll talk about Andor. And then like a month later we'll talk about, Telu Season 2. Give people like a whole month to get caught up and then let them know, like warn people like, hey, get out. Put it on the thumbnail and everything. Like don't come in if you've not watched the season. This part's even better. When truth leaves us, when we let it slip away, when it's ripped from our hands, we become vulnerable to the appetite of whatever monster screams the loudest. Yeah, that's like so perfectly read. That's so perfectly written and said. Like, yes. PlayStation has pushed out a trailer. Forza Horizon 5 on PS5 Pro features advanced ray tracing, improved draw distance, and more. And they're doing a 20% off on it for days of play. That's deep. It is deep, and it's literally how the anti-woke grift works. That's why the anti-woke grift works, because people just scream. Whoever screams the loudest and is the most angry and is the most reactionary, that everybody's just running to that. You are literally becoming vulnerable to the thing that screams the loudest, because it's like, well, I don't really care about critical thinking, literacy, truth, analyzation, none of that. I don't need evidence. I don't need any of that. I'll just, let's just screech and maul and yell about everything. It's just, and for all places for this to be where it happens. What are your thoughts on Nightreign? I was going to play it this afternoon, but there's no cross-play. I've heard that really high-skilled players have said that playing it solo is kind of a waste of time. And FromSoft literally said it's not really tuned for solo, it's tuned for 3. They've already tried to soften how difficult it is for solo players by letting you get like a revive in the last fight, and something else. Like, they're already acknowledging fail rate for solo players is too high. And so I was like, well, I don't want to play by myself. And so I was going to play with other players, but there's no cross-play. So I think it's a wrap. I think it's going to be one of the first times I try to get a refund through PlayStation. I've never tried it before. I'm not, like, I booted up the game, went into settings, fiddled with some stuff, and I don't think I'm going to play it. I think I'm going to play Doom here in a little bit and try and beat it. Oh, I've already played Hypercharge a bunch with my kiddos on the Xbox. That's a bummer, no crossplay. Yeah, I don't understand. I really, really, truly don't. Show off some rematch. Yeah, I could show off some rematch as well. You opened it, might be harder to get the refund, but they can see that I haven't even played it for more than 20 minutes. They can see playtime. That's a thing that they track. Opening it will present a problem. I was watching Glad play. He was struggling. This is the guy that did a level 1 no-hit through all FromSoft games. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I was hearing that high-level players were struggling on solo, and I'm like, I'm not freaking doing that. No, I think I'll get my one freebie. I've never gotten a refund from PlayStation before. How do you do it? Is it a website thing? Or hang on. Request a refund for a full game. Find your purchase type below. Content has not been downloaded or streamed. Come on. You have to contact PlayStation support. Oh, do you have to do it over the phone? Three times in 15 years. It doesn't look like you can do it like through their website. It looks like you have to call them. Oh wait, no, a chat. Agent available. Let's get started. Return a game or add-on. It's not working properly. Accidentally purchased multiple times. Unhappy with content. I changed my mind. I would say unhappy with content. Have you already streamed or downloaded the content? Yes. I'm sorry. You're not eligible. For more detail, is there anything yeah. Yeah. I want to speak to a live person. Yeah, I need to talk to a live person, not a bot. All right, return game or add-on. Let's try this one more time. I've changed my mind. No. How many days has it been since the purchase? 1. There we go, agent. Form of an email address. Yo, thank you, Misfit, for 4 months. Yeah, I want to get my money back on Nightreign. It doesn't have crossplay. Like, we can't even... I'm not going to sit here and try to, like, play a game with only people on one platform. That, like, kills it as a even a potential future, like, community game night. Like, just PlayStation people? Like, what? The only way to verify my phone number. Tell them you're streaming live to 1 million people. I'm saying it doesn't. I would like to return it because it doesn't have crossplay and I won't be able to use it. Tainted Grail is getting a download right now. We could check that out as well. Oh, they put the Stellar Blade demo on Steam? Oh, I don't think I added that sub. Hang on, Misfit. Let me add you to the total. Sorry. What? 25. We are a 20 bomb away from the next milestone. We're not really worried about stretch anymore. You guys have hit so many stretch, but every stretch now is another song. The transaction ID. Would that be an other? Thank you for your purchase. Elden Ring Nightreign. It will always be impressive to me how many effing hoops you have to go through for a refund on a console. You need to be a professional code breaker. I've consistently held the position that we are not protected on the consoles the way that we should be. I believe anything you purchase digitally should be refunded digitally with the same ease that you purchased it. Now, you have to have parameters. Like, you can't let somebody refund a game after they played it for 80 hours. That's ridiculous. But, like, within the realm of 14 days, less than a certain number of hours, yeah, I should be able to go hit a button on the dadgum game and be like, give me my frickin' money back. Like, you know what I mean? With the ease that I purchased it, I should be able to return it with the exact same ease. Like, even Steam should be easier, I think. Steam is the best, but even Steam, I think it should be easier. I think you should be able to literally go to the game in your library and say, uninstall and refund. You should just be able to do it right there. Yeah, I think that the consumer protection should be put in place for all of that on PlayStation, Nintendo. It'll be harder with Nintendo, but with PlayStation, with Xbox, you know, even Steam. Even Steam should be easier than it is. Is it anti-consumer that they don't allow easy access to digital game refunds? I don't know if there's an imperative on the company for me to be protected. That level of consumer protection, I think, has to come in at a regulatory level. Like the company could be like, no, we don't do refunds. Like, you know that when you buy the game. It's not like it's not like they're scamming me and tricking me. Oh no, yeah, you can refund. No, you can't. Like, you know what I mean? I'm an informed consumer. I know that I'm buying something that really isn't set up to be refunded. I know that that's the case. I know that when I open up the jewel case of a game and take it back to GameStop, that I'm not going to get full credit. I know these things. I'm informed about these things. I'm not being scammed or tricked. So I don't think it's like anti-consumer because I'm not being defrauded. I know full well what I'm signing up for. I believe at a regulatory level, we should be protected as consumers to have the ability to return something with the same ease that I purchased it. It would be like going to Target and Target being like, no, you can't return it here. You need to drive over to, 80 miles to another town and go in a warehouse and return it there. Like that, you know what I mean? So you would basically need to, like, as a citizen, say, hey, this should be fixed. He said Game Pass. No, he didn't. No, he didn't. He did not say Game Pass is dangerous. The anti-consumer conversation is rarely done in good faith. I think the only time you're allowed to invoke that is if you've been scammed, misled, tricked, something unethical. They said, I'm sorry to inform you, I double-checked. It seems to our records you downloaded it. I said, I buy games all the time and have never requested a refund. I literally can't play this game as it doesn't offer crossplay. I haven't even played it. How much can you play before you're not allowed to refund? Well, I think every game would have to submit an average time to completion number, and then you would take a ratio of that and say, if it's a 12-hour game, as soon as you go over the 1 hour mark, you can't return it. If it's a 50-hour game, right, you'd create like a spectrum and you'd say, okay, indie studio, how long does it take to beat your game on average? And if they say 15 hours, you're like, okay, that's a pretty short game. You can't play past an hour. Longer games, 2 hours. They said, let me review something. I'm not trying to be that customer that's like, I spend a lot of money in your store, but it's like, I buy games all of the time. Like, I buy games all of the time, and I've never requested a refund. I literally can't use this game as I intended to use it. You could say that I could have done better research or something, like, I should have looked into having crossplay, but it's like, come on. That's a base level expectation. Did we know before today it didn't have crossplay? I feel like we found out today. Yeah, reminder, don't download games you buy unless you plan on playing. That's right, the point of no return. Well, what's crazy is as soon as you buy it, the very next thing it asks you to do is download it. So, like, the average person is not going to not do that. They're not going to be like, yeah, I bought it digitally, and then it was like, well, do you want to download it right now? Nah, I'll do it later. No, everybody's going to click that next button and be like, yeah, download it. That's all it takes to not be able to refund it. It's like, you can look in your records and see I haven't even played the game. It was open for 2 minutes, so I could check the settings and accept all their stupid EULA stuff. I thought Steam, you got 2 hours of playtime. They're saying they can't do it. I'm like, this is unacceptable. I've not played the game. You can check that as you guys track how long a game is played. Your policy is incredibly unfair, as buying the game naturally flows right into downloading it. I haven't played it, and I already uninstalled it. Like, that's such a bogus policy, because you're basically saying anybody who buys a game digitally, unless you have the wherewithal to know, well, I better not download it in case I decide I don't want it. It's like the game was open for 2 minutes. Like, I should not be denied a refund. If I played the game for 4 or 5 hours and decided, I don't like it, it's too hard, I think it'd be perfectly fine to deny me the refund. It's like, I haven't even played the game, dude. Like, yeah, if you download the game, yeah, they're saying you can't. And it's like, again, your natural flow of purchasing the game, as soon as I'm done purchasing, the very next thing it says is download the game. Everybody's going to do that. So ratio time or minimum play time. I would say a ratio of play time is probably the best way to do it. Yo, Joker Quinn, thank you so much for bumping the line. They literally just closed it. Yeah. She didn't even respond to me saying that. She just closed the chat. She's like, I'm done talking with you. She was watching the stream and had enough. Retry with purchase by mistake. Well, she's created a file. I can't. They're going to see. Anybody that pulls up my account now is going to see that I already spoke to somebody. Ah, well. FromSoft got me for whatever it was, what, $40? Yeah, the score dropped a little bit on Steam from 68% to a 64%. I wonder if it's counting the time you played Elden Ring. No, they're different. They're completely different installs. I got something on my porch. I got to go get it. And then we're going to switch gears. So you guys have a little bit of time left to try to hit the final. I don't think we need to do that. So I'll be right back. It's a crap policy. The reason it's a crap policy is because they track your playtime in the game. They know exactly how long I've played Elden Ring Nightreign. They're not like, well, you downloaded it, so we don't know. I mean, you could have played it all night. It's like, no, you can literally see that the game was open for 2 minutes. You know what I mean? "45 minutes," says Wired Rope. What do you mean 45 minutes? What are you talking about? I thought they'd give me my one freebie. I thought they'd be like, yeah, you've never requested a refund before. We'll let you have this one. That's what people have always said. People have always said that, like, PlayStation will give you like one, every 6 months or so, and they'll just let you refund it. That was a text, wrong box. Okay. Sony said no. Yeah, they said no. They shut me down. Once you download it, you can't refund it, is what they said. You know what I mean? Like, they basically said, according to their policy, is if you download the game or stream the game, you cannot refund it. Yo, what's good, Zynga? How are you? You found me after all these years? Yeah, man. We got our account back like 2 months ago. We are going to be going to a members-only segment, though. So you guys on YouTube, if you want to come with us, we're going to be just like playing games and chilling for the rest of the day. I'm going to try to finish Doom. I'm going to check out the Tainted Grails patch. And I'm also going to maybe show you guys that rematch game. It's not a game for me, by the way. I've been just telling people to keep an eye on it because I think the rematch game could be pretty popular. Okay. They can 100% remove it from the account. That's what I mean. It's not hard for them to go onto the back end and say, you no longer own this game. Like, they're making it difficult because they don't want to give people refunds. They want to keep the money. I get it, but all right, there's a link in chat. You guys on Twitch, as a way to communicate that this will eventually be a subscriber only segment, like you will not be able to watch Green Room. That's how we end our day. I am going to make chat sub only. Man. I'm pretty sure that's BS because I've refunded a game on PlayStation that I've already downloaded. Yeah, well, there you go. Hey, thanks so much for being somebody who supports the channel directly. If you're watching this video, maybe you're watching it later as a past broadcast, it means that you are a member plus or a VIP. It means you support this channel directly. We are a fan-funded operation. I'm only able to do this full-time because of the people who do memberships, gift memberships, and all of that. So if you're watching the tail end of the talk show and you want to come with us and we're just going to chill and play games, you can upgrade to Member Plus. It's $6 a month. It's literally like the cost of a cup of coffee, and you get an entire month of extra content. We had a crazy, huge week. So don't forget, Friday nights now, Madam and I will be playing some games. I'll be sharing more of my music with you. You guys unlocked 2 full songs. So I'm going to end the stream and bring folks over. And Redirect has gotten quite a bit better, especially if we're